Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Giant Ship Galaxy, From Junk Ship to Starship. Chapter 21. Different from normal planets. This kind of space relay station does not have any buildings on the surface, and it cannot survive. Is an internal activity. The interior is also divided into many layers and countless areas. Originally thought that in such a remote place, the relay station should be sparsely populated. But when you actually walk in and take a look, you realize that there are many people here, and it is quite lively. Come here. And it's not just the captain. There are also the crew of the mechanical starship, and the crew of various types of spaceships. And those who travel with their families. There are even people who bought real estate here, got married and had children, and directly regarded this place as their home. Leave the dock and take the elevator to the real interior. Only then can I feel the prosperity and the ultimate sense of technology here. It is basically decorated in milky white tones, and the various designs are full of futuristic, sci-fi, and minimalist styles. Can't see where the light is, but it's brightly lit. Warm incandescent light illuminates the interior extremely brightly. Inside the relay station, there are self-contained life support systems and gravity support systems. It is the temperature, humidity, air, and the most realistic gravity that humans are most comfortable with. Although Shu Xian was still wearing the old ultralight space armor at this time, he had already taken off the helmet. Being stuffy in there is not a comfortable thing. In every location here, there will be fully armed guards in heavy armor to protect everyone's safety. The relay station has its own security disposal authority, and here, its laws and regulations must also be followed. It is safe enough here, and there is no need to worry about your own safety. Just took a few glances. Shu Xian fell in love with it. No wonder so many rich people and captains choose to live in the relay station. In fact, if he has money, maybe also buy a property at one of the space stations you frequent. Living here is really comfortable, and it is more convenient to drive a starship to travel, or to do tasks. He decides, make a fortune today, and spend some luxury here later. Reward yourself with something delicious. Just thinking about it, the optical brain watch vibrated. It was Qin Fuyu's communication application. Just connected. Boss, where are you now? I'm coming to find you. Shu Xian looked at the sign and said, I'm at the entrance and exit of the 7th floor living floor. Yeah, boss, wait for me, I'll be there soon. Hee, I don't know why I suddenly feel a little nervous. It feels like I want to meet a netizen. I'm really a little nervous. Boss, big brother, do you have the same? Shu Xian. Hang up the communication directly. Fierce woman. Do you think acting cute like this will make me forget how fierce you were before? The other side. Qin Fuyu couldn't help but pucker her mouth when she saw the communication that was suddenly hung up. This man is really rude. But she suddenly nodded her chin again. She felt that this boss seemed a little cold. That's really a bit like a boss. Not to mention, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of person this boss is who pilots a Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship and blows up several Tier 2 and Tier 3 scout ships. Thinking about it, the pace became faster. Are you the boss of the Radiance? Just when Shu Xian received the money for the parts he sold, a familiar voice sounded behind him. Turning his head to look, a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. This girl is pretty good looking. Well, Shu Xian admitted that he was against his will. It should be said that this girl is a bit too good looking. He was about 1.72 meters tall, and he was wearing an extremely delicate armor, which perfectly set off his perfect figure. Shu Xian also recognized the armor on her body. Cosmos Technology Group's popular series of light armor. The price is as high as 5.9 million yuan. Although it is light armor, its defensive power has even reached the level of heavy armor produced by ordinary companies. And it is also equipped with a low-power energy shield. Jet equipment can carry people a certain distance in the space environment and directly on the ground. With very high-end gas filtration, enough ultra-compressed oxygen to support half a month of breathing. High radiation resistance, blah blah blah. In short, a very good armor. Comparing my own set with others' set, it's the difference between a beggar's outfit and a queen's outfit. These thoughts just flashed in his mind. Shu Xian nodded and said, it's me. Neither overly enthusiastic nor overly indifferent, just the normal kind, without deliberately pretending to be cold and forceful. Wow, boss, you are so young. Qin Fuyu covered her lips and exclaimed, Boss, why do you look as old as me? It doesn't look like the kind that binds the starship twice. Quote. Shu Ziyan frowned, and said inexplicably, what is the second binding starship? I just woke up a few days ago, where can I bind the starship for the second time? Quote. Hearing what Shu Ziyan said, Qin Fuyu was really shocked. She asked incredulously, You just woke up a few days ago. Wait. A few days ago, the school just held a unified awakening ceremony. Hey, boss, you are not still a high school student, are you? Quote. There is nothing to hide, Shu Ziyan nodded frankly, well, senior year. Qin Fuyu was shocked. Just staring at Shu Ziyan in a daze, he looked up and down with a pair of wonderful eyes, as if he couldn't imagine his own eyes. Suddenly excitedly pointing to himself. Boss, I am also a senior in high school. I am a senior high school student at Tiangong No. 1 Middle School in Tiangong City, the moon in the solar system. Quote. Immediately without waiting for Shu Ziyan to say anything, he exclaimed in shock, That's not right. Boss, you just woke up a few days ago, and your starship also evolved from a spaceship in the past few days. Hiss, your starship looks amazing, the quality should not be low. Boss, please introduce such a powerful evolutionist. Quote. Shu Ziyan's heart moved, and he suddenly said, You must have seen it. Do you think I can afford an evolutionist? The brilliant number is an evolutionary plan that I created with my own hands and feet, and I evolved the whole process by myself. Quote. After saying these words, his eyes fixed on Qin Fuyu eagerly. Press eyes. It's like staring at a box of cosmic coins that are shining with gold. And Qin Fuyu, her beautiful eyes widened in an instant. He stared at Shu Ziyan dumbfounded. That expression. It was like seeing a ghost. Just a few hours, Qin Fuyu felt that her previous worldview had received a huge shock. Over the years, she has considered herself a top-level talent. After all, when she was 15 years old, her biological value was at full value, and when she was 16 years old, her family directly spent money to awaken her, and she was awakened successfully. Another year or so, the starship successfully evolved to the third rank, and it also broke through to become a third-rank warrior. This talent, to be honest, not to mention far away, at least in the solar system, it is definitely one of the best. But today I met Shu Ziyan. Only then did she discover what true genius is. Just woke up a few days ago. A spaceship is bound. Evolve the spaceship into a starship yourself. And it's a starship with quite powerful combat capabilities. She estimated that the quality of the brilliant number was at least green and excellent, definitely better than ordinary white, let alone inferior gray. This fully illustrates one point. This boss, not to say he is very powerful, but at least he is also a very, very talented evolver. The relationship between the evolutionist and the biological captain goes without saying. Wanting to fight here, she took a step forward excitedly and grabbed Shu Ziyan's arm with her two slender hands. Her pair of deer-like almond eyes flickered and shone. Boss, let's make friends. I, Qin Fuyu, like to make friends the most. Boss, my name is Qin Fuyu. I am 17.5 years old. I am 1.73 meters tall and my bust is. Shu Ziyan, this woman is a bit reckless. Subconsciously he looked under her collarbone. It seems, as she said, it has reached C. It's really not that small. He coughed lightly and did not take his hand back, letting Qin Fuyu hold it with her two small hands. Anyway, it's not me who suffers. Needless to say, Qin Fuyu's little hands are indeed a bit comfortable. At the same time, he introduced himself. My name is Shu Ziyan, from Earth Lake City. Don't call me a big boss, just call me by my name. Quote. Qin Fuyu looked very happy and nodded continuously. Yeah. Shu Ziyan, are you really an evolutionist? Shu Ziyan shook his head and denied, although I evolved my starship. But I am not a registered evolutionist, and I have never even studied an evolutionist course in a systematic way. I just liked evolutionists since I was a child and have been studying on my own. Quote. Although I really want to fool this stupid girl who looks super rich at first glance into inviting me to evolve into Wayu number 2 next time. But there is no need to lie to others. In fact, Xu Ziyan is not fooling others. What he said was true. If Qin Fuyu's Weiyu really wants to undergo the next evolution, Xu Ziyan will specially enter the system's evolution simulation to come up with a good evolution plan for her. Now, to make money. Flirting with little girls or something like that. Not shabby, Qin Fuyu suddenly realized, but her beautiful eyes became even more admiring. Then you are super powerful. I actually took an evolutionist course. But it's so difficult, just the countless parts and properties of metal materials drive me crazy. Not to mention the reasonable matching of parts, what metals or materials to add during evolution, etc. I absolutely cannot be an evolutionist. Xu Ziyan smiled and saw that Qin Fuyu didn't say anything right away. In the future, Weiyu wanted to ask her to evolve or something. It seems that this girl is not really crazy. But it doesn't matter, the information has been thrown out anyway, and it depends on her luck whether she will ask herself to evolve the Weiyu for her when the time comes. He immediately hinted crazily. I have things to do later, have you helped me sell the things? Ah, yes, I'll give you the money first. Qin Fuyu smiled sheepishly, let go of Xu Ziyan's arm, and operated the optical brain watch a few times. Those things were sold for a total of 117,000, and the 100,000 thank you fee I promised you earlier, I transferred a total of 220,000 to you, take a look. Hearing Qin Fuyu's words, Xu Ziyan raised his optical brain watch and glanced at it. Sure enough, there was an extra balance of 220,000 in his account. Plus what I sold before. Finally, rich again. Name, Xu Ziyan. Identity Captain of the First Order Biological Reconnaissance Ship. Age, 17. Account Earth Federation Bank. Balance Cosmic Coin, 589,921.83. Nano Cluster, 0. Address Jushao, Shanghai. Looking at the balance of 580,000 to nearly 590,000, Xu Ziyan smirked from the bottom of his heart. Let's not talk about anything else. Take out 201,000 yuan first, and repay all the loans you have taken out at one time. There are 388,900 yuan left. The most important thing is the increase in his wealth value. Name, Xu Ziyan. Realm, First Grade Warrior. Starship, Brilliance, Blue Rare. Bioenergy, 147. Evolution value, 28. Wealth value, 69. Just right, 69 wealth points. At first it was 10.1, but now the wealth value has increased by 58.9, which happens to be 69. Anyway, Xu Ziyan quite likes this number. Really. The fastest way to make money has to be war and killing. Right now anytime, anywhere, you can evolve the Starship to the second level, and you can easily break through it yourself. It's just that the quality of the Starship may not be able to be improved, and it is even impossible to improve the quality of parts. The evolution value is still too little. After delivering this courier, go to pick up the more risky mission. Xu Ziyan's eyes flickered. You're fine, I have something to do later, see you next time. Xu Ziyan said to Qin Fuyu. Ah, are you leaving? Qin Fuyu obviously wanted to chat with Xu Ziyan for a while, but she could only nod her head and said, okay then. Boss, we are all from the solar system, we need to talk more when we have time. Quote. Xu Ziyan nodded with a smile, waved at Qin Fuyu, and walked straight to the living area. Then it was a real luxury. I spent a total of 700 yuan and ate a hot pot with stegosaurus meat. Yes, stegosaurus meat, the kind of stegosaurus of a dinosaur. In this day and age, there are countless ethnic groups. And there are as many types of animals as there are stars in the sky. The dinosaurs on the Earth are extinct, but there are always dinosaurs on some planets. Dinosaur. It has been farmed on a large scale for a long time and has become an ordinary meat on the human table. After spending some extravagance, Xu Ziyan drove the Brilliant and continued to the destination. Ah, Xu Ziyan. In the deserted deep sky, Xu Ziyan was looking curiously at the unique double star system of the UV Ceti star system. The surprise call from the girl in the communicator made him stunned. He looked down at the star map in confusion. He can be sure that this place is several light years away from the JYZ 1881 space relay station. We have arrived at the door of the UV Ceti star system. But, why did I meet this woman again? He looked around. There was no sign of the Weiyu. Xu Ziyan immediately made up his mind. After returning this time, I will improve the quality of the radar no matter what. Just a few blinks of an eye. The familiar way you sailed toward the brilliance. Qin Fuyu's voice full of surprise and surprise continued to come from the communicator. Xu Ziyan, why are you here too? Haha, I didn't expect that we meet again. Xu Ziyan rubbed his face, also full of confusion. I came here to do a courier delivery task. And you? Or you too? Quote, yeah, I came here to deliver a courier too. Haha, I didn't expect such a coincidence. Well, that's quite a coincidence. Xu Ziyan didn't know what to say. In the vast starry sky, two people can meet twice in one day. All I can say is that this luck is incredible. It's fate. Since we are so destined, how about we go back together after delivering the express? Qin Fuyu asked in an expectant voice. Xu Ziyan understood that Qin Fuyu wanted to be her bodyguard. He didn't refuse, and nodded. Okay, let's complete the mission first, and then we can go back to the solar system together. Yeah, let's go then. I thought Qin Fuyu had finished speaking, but she suddenly said something else. But you really need to change your exploration radar. Oh my god, I'm so close to you, only a few 100,000 kilometers away, and you haven't noticed me yet. This is very dangerous in interstellar navigation. Quote. Xu Ziyan's face was expressionless. Really, this woman is still so hateful. Doesn't he know? He also knows the importance of detecting radar. Even know the importance of Starship stealth coding. If the Kraken's stealth system was high enough, even Qin Fuyu's radar wouldn't be able to detect him. He knows all this. But the key is, where is the money? Rich people. Xu Ziyan was so angry that he didn't want to talk to this woman anymore. He started flying at super light speed and flew towards the private planet named Siren Star, that was dotted on the star chart. Behind, Wei Yu followed behind. Following the Kraken, he flew to the left of the Kraken, then to the right of the Kraken, and kept playing there. It could be seen that Qin Fuyu was in a very good mood at this time. The UV Ceti star system is a star system in a binary star system. According to the vernacular, it is a solar system with two suns. The two stars are Rudin 726-8a and Rudin 726-8b. And they're all red dwarfs. Compared with yellow dwarfs like the Sun, red dwarfs are more stable and have a longer burning life. But the relative temperature is lower than the Sun. But the sight of two suns hanging in the sky is quite shocking. Siren Star, located in the middle of the two stars. From the outside, Siren Star is a desolate star similar to Mars in the 21st century. At present, it has been purchased and should be under renovation. Cosmic interstellar era, because the number of planets is countless times more than the grains of sand in the desert. Thus planets can also be purchased. Unless it is the kind of uninfluenced unowned area, if you occupy it, it will be yours. The galaxy in front of me is obviously within the territory of the Earth Federation and needs to be purchased. Even though Siren Star seems to be a desolate star at present, Xu Ziyan is still full of envy in his heart. Private planet. I don't know when I will be able to afford a private planet. Drop. You are about to enter the private planet territory Siren Star. Please explain your purpose, otherwise you will be shot down. Just a short while after getting close to Sea Demon Star, the other party's optical brain system sent a warning to the Brilliant. I accepted the express delivery mission. Xu Ziyan replied. Drop. Please follow the route guidance to reach the target location. In the next second, a route guide appeared in front of him with a holographic projection. From the current point of view, the Siren Star should have just been purchased not long ago. Looking all the way down, it was all barren. There is only one at the destination. Misty grass. Xu Ziyan opened his eyes wide in an instant, looking forward in shock. Ahead is a plain-like area with a building and a battleship. There is nothing surprising about the architecture. Although the building is large and luxurious, it is not enough to shock Xu Ziyan. What really shocked him was the giant starship. According to visual estimation, the length of this starship is at least 1,200 meters, or even 1,300 meters. This is cruiser. Xu Ziyan swallowed. Cruiser, the fifth stage of the super starship. Scout ships, frigates, assault ships, destroyers, and then cruisers. The length of the cruiser ranges from a basic length of 1,000 meters to a limit length of 1,499.9 meters. The starship in front of me is between 1200 and 1300 meters long, so it is definitely a cruiser. And, judging from its obvious traces of evolution, this is still a biological cruiser. So, the owner of Siren Star, the customer he delivered the goods this time. A biotic cruiser captain, the captain of the biological cruiser, Shuzian met. But I haven't seen the cruiser itself. At this time, I witnessed the main body of the cruiser with my own eyes. The huge hull and the secondary guns were several times larger than the main guns of the bright cannon. There are also several main guns and dozens of missile launch bays. The ferocious and thick armor, Shuzian even suspected. Even if the cruiser was just parked here for him to fight, he might not even be able to penetrate the opponent's armor. Wow, it turned out to be the Kraken. Suddenly, Qin Fuyu's cry of surprise came from beside her ear. Shuzian was startled. Sea demon. Are you saying this creature cruiser is called the Kraken? Have you ever seen this starship? Quote, Shuzian became curious. You don't even know about the Kraken. Qin Fuyu's tone was startled. Are you from our solar system? No, even if you are not from the solar system. Don't you know Haitang, one of the top 10 top talents in our Earth Federation? And the Siren Begonia is still a genius who came out of our solar system. She is known as the pride of our solar system. Quote. Shuzian scratched his head. The top 10 geniuses of the Earth Federation. He has heard of it. But I don't know who is in there. In the past, where did he have the heart to pay attention to these things? Earn money, live, learn. It is his whole world. Anyway, I heard, the top 10 geniuses of the Earth Federation are all very young. It seems that no more than 35 years old is the minimum bottom line, and then the starships must start at the assault ship level. Now seeing this cruiser class Siren, it seems that it is indeed the case. Let's talk about this later, let's deliver the goods first. Shuzian didn't talk much on this issue. He was about to drive the Brilliant to the designated area. Qin Fuyu's Weiyu flew down like a wild horse. Both of them parked the starship, and Shuzian put on the armor helmet again. Sea Demon Star has not yet established a life support system, so it is natural to wear armor and helmets. The hatch opened and the starship disembarked. But the door of the building in front suddenly opened, and an extremely tall and hot figure walked out from inside. The distance is a little far, so I can't see the specific appearance clearly. But this figure and this temperament are enough to attract everyone's attention. At this time, Qin Fuyu was already running towards that figure like a flying butterfly. Before the person arrived, the voice arrived first, Sister Haitang. A woman named Haitang also came over with a slightly cold voice. I was quite surprised to see your starship. I didn't expect you to be a little girl in the starship that delivered the goods to me this time. Why did you come out to run the mission? Uncle Qin won't stop you. Quote. Hearing what the other party said, Qin Fuyu suddenly said dissatisfied, say more. This time, I begged my father for a long time before he agreed to me to come out and pick up a mission with the lowest risk. Oh, let's not talk about me, Sister Haitang, when did you buy a planet here? Why not go back to the solar system? Quote. Haitang said softly. Recently, a starship has just evolved into a cruiser, a small place like the solar system. Driving a cruiser is not at all convenient. What's more, the solar system is too safe, and there are too few missions, so it's not bad here. If it is convenient for me to do anything, I will buy this planet. Quote. Seeing that the two girls were chatting enthusiastically over there, Shuzian didn't go over to interrupt. In fact, from Qin Fuyu's tone before, Shuzian guessed that Qin Fuyu might know the captain of the Kraken. Now it seems, not only do you know each other, but you have a good relationship. This is also normal. Qin Fuyu's family can afford to buy her a future star, and even the armor is a set of millions of dollars. Her family is obviously not simple, and there is no doubt that she is a big shot in the solar system. Then it seems reasonable to know Haitang, one of the 10 top geniuses of the Earth Federation who has gone out from the solar system. The two chatted for a while, before Haitang looked towards Shuzian. And at this time, Shuzian also had a clear view of the opponent's face through the glass mask of her armor helmet. Cool, this is the first impression of Begonia. She is equally beautiful in appearance, on par with Qin Fuyu. But it is different from Qin Fuyu who is carefree and has a bit of a bad mouth. She is the kind of coldness that rejects people thousands of miles away. But it's the kind of charm that looks full of femininity. Anyway, this is an extremely feminine, but extremely cold woman. Oh, I forgot to introduce him. At this time, Qin Fuyu remembered Xu Ziyan, and quickly introduced to Haitang. Sister Haitang, his name is Xu Ziyan, and he is also delivering the goods to you this time. Haitang raised her eyebrows. You guys know each other? She thought that the two of them just delivered the goods at exactly the same time, and she didn't think they knew each other. Because there is no need to look at other. Just look at the tattered suit on Xu Ziyan's body, and even the armor that has been re-welded with gaps. The two of them don't look like people from the same world. Qin Fuyu nodded again and again. I know. Of course I do. You don't know, this time I encountered a group of small interstellar pirates on the way here, and almost died. It was Xu Ziyan who happened to be passing by and saved me, otherwise I would be gone. Quote. Only then did Haitang's face change a little, his eyes instantly became extremely cold, and a strong murderous aura instantly permeated the air. Encountered interstellar pirates. I have cleaned up all the interstellar pirates from the solar system to my route. I didn't expect it to appear again. These fools are really not afraid of death. Haitang said coldly with murderous aura, give me the address where you were attacked, and I'll go there right now and smash them all. Qin Fuyu was stunned for a moment. I took a detour. I thought this route would be dangerous, so I just took a detour. Haitang's expression froze slightly, and she patted her forehead speechlessly. Well, it's also my fault. I just emptied the pirates on this route last week, and I was busy, so I forgot to report to the Federation. Xu Ziyan was also quite speechless. So, the area that was originally thought to be very dangerous is actually safer now. Qin Fuyu didn't dwell on this issue, instead she pulled Haitang and kept talking about how powerful Xu Ziyan is. At first Haitang listened casually. She also saw Xu Ziyan's starship. Because no detection radar was used to scan it, the specific level of the brilliant was unknown. But come to think of it, to evolve to this level, it should be at the level of a mid-level or high-level scout ship, right? As a mid-level or even high-level scout ship, what's the point of killing a few low-level scout ships? Who knows? She felt something was wrong when she heard it. If she heard correctly, Fuyu said just now that this person's starship level seems to be only the first rank. Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship. Then, with a Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship, it directly killed a Tier 2 biological scout ship in the first round. Then chased the remaining Tier 3 biological reconnaissance ship and the 4 low-level mechanical reconnaissance ships for a blast. Finally, self is unharmed, the enemy. All members perish. As Qin Fuyu narrated with great interest, Haitang's expression became more serious. She is the captain of the biological cruiser and a Battle King-level powerhouse. Only then did he understand more deeply what it was like for Xu Ziyan to kill several higher-level scout ships with a Tier 1 biological scout ship without any injuries. Especially when the opponent is an interstellar pirate who has experienced many actual battles. Her first thought was the same as Qin Fuyu at that time. Xu Ziyan, maybe a certain captain who experienced a lot of actual combat. The starship was blown up, and then bound the starship for the second time. But, Qin Fuyu actually told her. Xu Ziyan, as old as her. Still a high school senior in Earth Lake City. And it was only awakened for the first time at the collective awakening ceremony of the Earth Federation a few days ago. The information contained here is completely different. Genius. Super genius. Haitang made such a judgment almost immediately. At least a super genius in Star Wars. In the case of other captains of the same age who have not experienced actual combat, they even saw the enemy's calves trembling. The comparison is immediately apparent. If what Qin Fuyu said earlier only made Haitang look at Xu Ziyan with admiration. After all, let alone the human beings in the universe, it is just the Earth Federation, and there are countless geniuses. She admitted that Xu Ziyan is indeed a genius. However, she has seen so many geniuses. She is a super genius in her own right. She has seen Xu Ziyan like this a lot. There are too many humans. Genius, too much. But when Qin Fuyu said, this starship brilliant was evolved by Xu Ziyan himself, Haitang immediately became very interested in Xu Ziyan. Star Wars and evolution twin geniuses. Haitang took a deep look at Shu Zian, and suddenly asked, Shu Zian, do you know about the special recruitment exam in 2 months? Quote. Shu Zian was startled. I don't understand why Haitang suddenly asked this question. But he nodded and replied, yes, I am also going to participate. Special admissions. It is a test before the college entrance examination. In other words, it is an exam specifically for those top geniuses. Just like the name of the test. This exam is different from the college entrance examination, and it is different from the ordinary college entrance examination. At that time, recruiters from various schools will be present to conduct the inspection in person. Once you find a talented candidate you like, you will be given a special recruitment quota. With the special recruitment quota, you don't need to take the college entrance examination, you can be directly admitted by the school, and you can directly enter the university of your choice. So there is another alias for the special admissions exam. The arena of geniuses. Shu Zian naturally wanted to participate. Wouldn't it be more flattering to be directly recruited into the school? And it is said that the special enrollment, during the school, can get better treatment than ordinary students. Will be trained by the school alone. In short, there are many benefits. Seeing Shu Zian's affirmative answer, the corner of Haitang's mouth curled up in a cold and charming arc, and she nodded slightly. I look forward to your performance. Then she stopped talking to Shu Zian, turned her head to look at Qin Fuyu, and said softly, Fuyu, let's rest here today. We haven't seen each other for over a year too. Quote. Just as Qin Fuyu was about to nod, she suddenly looked at Shu Zian with a hint of embarrassment in her expression. Haitang's eyes narrowed, and she looked at Qin Fuyu, whose pretty face was slightly tangled, and then at Shu Zian, who had been sizing up his Kraken cruiser. There was a flash of strange color in his eyes. After thinking for a while, he said to Shu Zian, you saved Fuyu, I should thank you properly. Like Fuyu, you also want to rest here for 2 days, right? I will arrange a separate building for you. You can live there and no one will disturb you. Quote. Qin Fuyu did not expect that Haitang would suddenly invite Shu Zian to live with her. She glanced at Haitang with joy, and her pretty face turned red instantly when she saw Haitang's meaningful gaze. But he pretended not to see it and cast an expectant look at Shu Zian. Shu Zian was a little confused. Haitang suddenly invited him to stay too. What is this and what? He indeed saved Qin Fuyu. But didn't Qin Fuyu also give her 100,000 yuan? But it is definitely impossible to live in it. He was just getting started and there was so much to do. For example, he was ready to evolve the parts of the brilliance. Evolve to the 2nd level, by the way. How can I have time to spend with these 2 women? The key is not knowing what they want to do. Could it be that he is worried about his beauty? Shu Zian can't help but guard against. Unless you give money. He immediately declined without hesitation. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't stay here for too long. I'll have to leave after unloading. The college entrance examination is coming soon, and there are still many things to prepare for. Quote. A hint of surprise flashed in Haitang's cold eyes. She smiled when she heard this and said, okay, then I won't keep you anymore. Qin Fuyu next to her suddenly pouted, and her mood suddenly seemed to fall into depression. All he could say was, okay then, let's contact each other via communication. In addition, I will go back in a few days. Also, if you find any good missions, remember to take one with me too. Moreover, my Wei Yu Hao would also like to ask your help to see where we can continue to strengthen and improve the quality. That's right, there's more. Qin Fuyu's little mouth kept chattering away. Shu Zian was convinced. With so much content, he just asked himself to help her see if Wei Yu Hao could continue to strengthen and improve its quality, which made him very happy. It seems that this fish is showing signs of biting the hook. Qin Yuyu, waiting for you. After unloading the cargo, he said goodbye to the 2 women and drove the brilliance away from here. This time he does not intend to return to Earth. He is going to the space relay station JYZ 1881. There is only one purpose in going there. Evolve the brilliant number. Anyway, everything is sold in the space relay station. Even things that are not available in the solar system are available in space relay stations. I don't worry that the evolution brilliant will be out of stock at all. Maybe the price will be about 4% minus 6% higher. But Shu Zian felt, I can't wait for a moment. Aligned in the direction of JYZ-1881 Space Relay Station. Activate the pulse warp propulsion engine. Space gradually distorts. The brilliant number disappeared in place in an instant. Inside the space relay station of JYZ-1881. Shuzian did not immediately start the evolution of the brilliant. He intends to take a good day off. It has been almost a day since I went out today. Calculated according to Earth time, it is already night. There are also many hotels and apartment hotels in the space relay station. Find a random hotel and pay for a week. Refund more and make up less. 1 day's accommodation fee is 170 yuan, which is quite affordable. Enter the apartment. Although it's not big, it has everything you need. Moreover, hotels in the interstellar age of the universe are naturally different from hotels in the 21st century. High technology can be seen everywhere, and the interior decoration style is also that milky white, which is similar to the overall style of the space station. A big bed is next to the window, and through the window, one can see the endless galaxy outside, bright and dazzling. After a comfortable shower, I ordered a decent meal for dinner on the optical computer in the room. Then he lay on the bed and started browsing the optical brain watch. The first is the settlement proof of task completion. A total of 8,800 yuan. Shuzian did a little calculation of the fuel consumption of this trip, and the final net profit was indeed about 5,500 yuan. Pure profit is pure profit, and the increase in system wealth value is still calculated according to 8,800. Now his wealth value is 69.9 points. Shuzian opted for a simplified display. So, my wealth value is still 69 points. After all, there is no way to increase the wealth value of the decimal point behind. Simplified display will also be selected in the future. After closing the official website of the Star Hunters Guild, Shuzian opened the shopping platform of the Space Relay Station, and began to purchase the parts, metals, and various materials needed for the evolution of the Brilliant. Among other things, the exploration radar must be fixed first. There are 2 kinds of radars installed on the Brilliant, one is a locking radar and the other is an exploration radar. The former lock local targets to assist the attack. The latter are used to explore the surrounding environment, as well as those of other Starship targets. The former can be ignored. The Candy is not equipped with a missile launcher, and the function of assisting the main gun and secondary gun to lock the target. Using it is far less handy than Shuzian's aiming by himself. Ultra Precision Production Group's Clairvoyance Series 22nd Generation Exploration Radar. This was carefully selected by Shuzian, and it is currently the most suitable detection radar for the Brilliant. The price is not cheap, a full 78,000 yuan. For example, the 4 secondary guns and the 2 anti-aircraft guns add up to 18,000 yuan. The price is expensive, and the effect is certainly not bad. If it is fused with the Can-Can, and its quality is improved based on the basis of the Can-Can, Shuzian is confident that this detection radar will be more effective than the detection radar of the Qin Fuyu Weiyu. Shuzian no longer wants to be blind. With the detection radar, it is no longer blind. Shuzian also doesn't want to be a naked person anymore. What do you mean without clothes? That is, others can easily detect him, and even the level of the Brilliant can be detected clearly. This is absolutely not what Shuzian wants. Stealth devices and stealth coatings must also be arranged in this evolution. Besides, the glass in the cockpit of the Brilliant is also going to be replaced. Due to financial constraints during the first evolution, the glass of the Brilliant was only the most common composite glass. For this replacement, at least the glass that can block a few main gun shells must be purchased. The communicator, forget it, let's change it. This thing is related to my own face. Shuzian still wants to save face. Main guns, secondary guns, anti-aircraft guns, engines, and so on. Shuzian believes that there is no need to continue to improve the quality or even replace the second evolution. The rest of the money was used to buy the metals and materials needed to evolve to the second level. The improvement of Starship level, in fact, the change is only a deep optimization of Starship strength and other aspects. The Starship as a whole has become stronger, more agile and coordinated in action, and so on. The size and volume of a Starship can only be improved by evolution at the Starship level. Although it is just a deep optimization. But it also requires an evolutionist to give a rigorous and detailed evolution plan. Otherwise, it may just be a wrong material, or a wrong weight calculation when a certain metal is incorporated. At least it will lead to a decline in the overall quality of the starship. Even if the level goes up, the decline in quality will greatly reduce its combat effectiveness and survivability. As a result, there are many situations where the starship after evolution is far less than before evolution. Needless to say, it will either explode here or break there, or directly turn into a pile of scrap iron. From here, it highlights the importance of an evolutionist. No, it should be said that it is the importance of a powerful evolutionist. It is very rare for a captain to choose an unknown evolutionist to evolve himself at will, even if the price is more expensive. This has led to the current phenomenon. Powerful evolvers with high levels and high success rates have become high-end beings that all captains are flocking to. Evolvers who are low-level and have no evolution experience, even those who have several evolution experiences, but whose evolution plans are ordinary and unremarkable, are almost ignored. Not to mention Shuzian, who didn't even pass the evolutionary assessment. This is also the reason why he has never considered that he can make money from the evolution master at present. Even that silly girl Chin Fuyu might not be able to be fooled into believing in herself, let alone others. Buy it after buying it. The balance that was originally rich took a big dive again. From 3 to 400,000, it became 25,000 yuan. 5,000 of them were used to rent the Starship factory. Fortunately, I bought everything I needed to buy for the second evolution. And the second evolution will be another huge change in the combat power and survivability of the Brilliance. The money is well spent. At this time, the rather sumptuous dinner was also served by the food delivery robot. Shuzian finished enjoying the food happily. Then, go to bed. Something moved in my heart. Consume 10 wealth points. Choose Battle Simulation in Actual Combat Simulation. I've always wanted to go in and take a look. Now, I finally have time to take a look at this battle simulation and how it is different from the two simulations of Star Wars and Evolution. Shuzian believed it. You won't let yourself down. Disappointment. No. Shuzian is not disappointed, but regrets it. I regret coming in so rashly. I regret that I rushed in so boldly without learning the various combat skills of a specialized biological warrior. The age of exploration in the universe and interstellar space. Biological starships are indeed the main theme. But bio-warriors must not ignore its huge importance. Although, almost all biological captains will use starships to solve everything when they are hostile. This is indeed true. But what if your starship is destroyed? It just so happens that you were lucky enough to survive. Why wait for death? Obviously impossible. When strengthening your Star Wars abilities, you must also take into account your own strength. One's own strength is the ultimate red line for one's survival. Not only that, a truly powerful biological warrior. That is definitely a terrifying existence that reaches for the stars and the moon. For example, a warrior at the king level. That is, you can fly in the universe for a short time purely by relying on your physical body. Shuzian once watched a video. The content of the video is a large-scale war between the border and the insects. A super strong man of unknown realm. He didn't pilot his starship either. I don't know if his starship was destroyed or something. Anyway, straight across the void, he came to a starship of the insect race that was much larger than a cruiser at super light speed, and punched. It's really just a fist. Then he punched the insectoid starship and blew it up. That scene, it deeply shocked Shuzian's soul. That's when it started. Only then did Shuzian really pay attention to his own cultivation. Of course, no matter how much you say, that is when the starship is destroyed, or there is no starship around. When he can use starships to solve all problems, Shuzian will never engage in hand-to-hand combat with the opponent. The cannonballs are booming, that's what it's really like. However, Shuzian really regrets it now. Battle simulation is actually a battlefield. It's still a close-quarters battlefield. Coincidentally, his comrades are actually the same ones from the Star Wars simulation. Everyone holds different weapons in their hands and is fighting in a bloody battle. Opposite, it's still the same group of insectoids. The bugs and humans look very different. For example, 2 or 3 meters tall. For example, there are many hands and many feet. Anyway, in the eyes of humans, none of the insectoids look normal. The reason why they are called insectoids. First of all, what they call themselves is the insect race. Secondly, although they are called insectoids and have some characteristics of insects, their body structure is that of a human body and blood. In addition to their advanced intelligence, they are called insectoids. Not long after Shu Xian came in, he was brutally killed by the insects. Yes, killing. When all his own personnel were killed and he was the only one left. These insectoids actually tore his body into pieces piece by piece. Just like being executed by Ling Qi. The extreme, bone-deep, and soul-deep pain made Shu Xian's body tremble crazily. It took a full 3 days of system simulation time before I finally recovered. The second time, Shu Xian behaved himself. In the case of losing, he directly gave himself a knife. This time, I finally have the mind to pay attention to the teaching from the system. The teaching is as meticulous and thorough as ever. It was just a teaching session, and without any combat skills, I still learned a lot. In fact, combat skills and non-combat skills are not so important in this face-to-face life and death fight. If fighting skills are likened to a knife, then this kind of real life and death fight is what really trains people. With a knife, on the contrary, it will affect one's own training of killing skills. Only in this kind of bloody fight where you die or I die, can you truly learn the in-depth combat knowledge, and completely form all the blocking, dodging, attacking, and how to kill the target in the fastest way, muscle memory. Wait until killing, blocking, and avoiding form a human instinct, and then pick up the knife of combat skills. At that time, no matter what you learn, it will be extremely fast, and you will be able to master it quickly. Therefore, the truly powerful skills are obtained from fighting again and again without any skills. Shu Xian studied very seriously, very, very seriously. Because he really didn't want to experience the extreme pain of being tortured and killed anymore. It's really thanks to him being a human being in 2 lifetimes, and his mental power is strong enough, otherwise he only needs to experience that kind of pain once. I'm afraid it has already collapsed. Fortunately, he has a strong soul. Fortunately, he has strong willpower. Again and again. Shu Xian, into the killing, in the boundless killing. Death and ordinary pain can even keep his face unchanged. Avoiding being tortured and killed became his last bottom line. 1 year later, Shu Xian can't even remember how many times he died. But from the 10th month, he never died again. Today is the last day of the year. Shu Xian held an alloy tang saber, and his figure was like a charm, shuttling among the insects. And every time he passed an insect man, the vital parts of that insect man would be severely injured, and then he would fall to the ground and die. Shu Xian's attack may not seem to have any beauty at all. But in any move, there is no extra movement in the slightest. It can be killed with a knife of 8 inches, and there will be no more than 1 centimeter. As long as he can avoid the opponent's attack, Shu Xian will not hesitate to roll a donkey with no good looks. And his ultimate purpose, or the only purpose, is only one. Kill all enemies in sight. In Shu Xian's eyes, the flashy moves are courting death. When the last worm dies, the expression on Shu Xian's face didn't change at all. Killing more than a dozen bugmen is like doing the most insignificant thing. It's like he can't remember how many times he died. I also can't remember how many enemies I killed. The number is also countless. At first, nausea, and vomiting will also occur. Now, even the viscera and brains fell from the top of his head with the disgusting smell of blood. He is afraid that his expression will not change. 1 year period. It's finally over, accompanied by the changes in front of the picture. Familiar and unfamiliar apartments appear in sight. Shu Xian stared blankly at the milky white ceiling above his head for a while. Eyes closed. This time, just less than a second. Then fell asleep. This sleep, I slept longer and deeper than the previous 2 times. Kill and be killed. The corrosion of the mind and spirit is too serious. This time, I slept until the afternoon of the next day before waking up leisurely. Staring at the ceiling in a daze for a while, he smiled bitterly. This battle simulation. I should go in less often in the future. If it lasts longer, I'm afraid I will turn into a madman who only wants to kill people. Quote. I scratched my scalp, got up and took a cold shower, which finally made me feel better. Soon, the optical brain watch showed that all the parts, metals and materials he purchased had been transported to the dock where the Brilliance was parked. Only then did Shuzian's cold heart become active and warm again. Fortunately, my heart is still warm. He didn't want to become a person without emotions and desires. That's terrible. Xing hurriedly came downstairs to the hotel and was about to go to the shipyard when he was suddenly startled. I saw unmanned medical beds running rapidly from the port to the living area. The direction I was looking at should be the hospital. On the medical bed, there were people lying covered in blood. Some were unconscious, some had severed arms and legs, or some were wailing endlessly. Something happened. Shuzian's eyes narrowed. But seeing that none of the heavily armed guards nearby moved, standing there like sculptures, Shuzian felt that something happened to the space relay station. Really? Soon Shuzian learned the news from passers-by who were also watching. Those interstellar pirates are so wasted. I heard it wasn't interstellar pirates, it seemed like a caravan attacked by human traders. Human traders? That's even more wasted. But why did they attack the caravan? Didn't they attack specifically to attack us humans? When did they also rob the pirates' business? I heard that there seems to be a big shot in this caravan. These human traders are going after him. So that's it. Oh, these traders are really hateful and deserve to die. That means I'm just a spaceship pilot, otherwise I would drive a starship and kill them to death. Come on, don't stop bragging. There were no nutritious words behind it, so Shuzian stopped listening. Things were indeed as he suspected. It was not the space relay station that was attacked, but the fleet outside that was attacked and came here to recuperate. Shuzian shook his head and didn't look any further. His strength is weak, and he is powerless to do this kind of thing. No matter how much you learn, it will only increase your anger. It is better to evolve your starship honestly and work hard to strengthen yourself. Came to the shipyard and rented a public starship factory. There is a private starship factory here. But the price is too high, costing several thousand yuan a day. The public starship factory only costs 5,000 yuan to rent for a few days, and it is said to be public just because others can come and go at will. And it can provide 3 starships with simultaneous repair and evolution. As for the evolution of the brilliant number, will anyone come in and learn from it? Stop dreaming. Except for standard starships, every biological starship can be said to be unique. Similarly, the evolution plan of each biological starship is also unique, and it is impossible to steal it. You copy the evolution plans of other starships and apply them to your own starship. The biggest possibility is to turn into a pile of broken copper and iron. As for whether Shuzian is afraid that the identity of the evolutionist will be discovered. Stop it. Shuzian wishes that his identity as an evolutionist would be known to more people. It's best to come to the media for interviews, and then the name of the great evolutionist will be spread throughout the universe. When the time comes, there will be endless money to make and wealth to spend. Isn't this okay? When the Brilliance and a bunch of parts, a bunch of metal and other items are transported to the Starship factory. 2 starships have been parked here for maintenance. A mechanical starship and a biological starship. And they are all at the frigate level. The length of the frigate ranges from the basic 140 meters to the extreme range of 269.9 meters. The 2 ships in front of them are both about 240 meters long, several times larger than the scout ship, and they look more powerful. The biological starship is a very ordinary-looking frigate. It has evolved many times, but the original style can still be vaguely seen. It seems to be a product of a small and medium-sized starship production company. Depending on the quality, the price ranges from 700,000 to 1.9 million. There is no higher price, because the highest quality starship that company can manufacture is only excellent, not the overall excellent, only some parts are excellent, and the overall is ordinary. Shuzian took a few extra glances. Because both starships were severely damaged, it seemed. They should be 2 of the fleets that were attacked by human traders this time. Even the frigate was beaten like this. It was hard to imagine what level the enemies in this attack were. Shuzian sighed and didn't look any further. Started to operate his own starship. To evolve from the first level to the second level, you must first reach the limit of being promoted to the second level warrior. That is 150 bioenergy. Now he is 147 bioenergy. With a thought, 3 points of wealth were consumed, and the body shook, and a majestic power emerged in the body. Bioenergy suddenly changed from 147 to 150 full value, reaching the standard of Starship evolution. No matter how much bioenergy you have at this time, it will be stored as before awakening. In addition, the evolution value has also reached 31 points. It's not about improving the quality of large batches of parts, but just about improving the quality of a small number of parts and optimizing the overall depth of the Starship. After all, 18 evolution points are enough. After evolving this time, there are still 13 evolution points left. It's great for saving lives. Bioenergy has been achieved. The next step is to divide the evolution plan. This time I did not enter the evolutionary simulation to do a lot of simulations. It's because, in the last simulation, Shuzian had already kept in mind the plan of how these parts should evolve, and there was no need to simulate it again. What's more, the in-depth learning of that year, even if Shuzian is now starting from scratch to improve the quality of a small part of the parts and a small evolution of the Starship, Shuzian is confident enough to evolve very well. There are plans. Next, just evolve. Shuzian soon devoted himself to the selfless evolution of the Starship, and no longer paid any attention to everything outside. Naturally, he didn't notice that not long after he started to evolve the brilliance, another group of people came in outside the Starship factory. Then I was attracted by the situation on Shuzian's side. At last, next to the brilliant number. People. The more we gather, the more we gather. Appreciate. Shock. Marvel. It was mesmerizing to watch. Seeing the brilliant number becoming more powerful step by step in his own hands. Shuzian felt a huge sense of accomplishment in his heart. He enjoyed this feeling very much. It's like a child who was brought up by his own hands, raised with shit and urine, and eventually grew up to become a super strong man who spanned the galaxy and suppressed the world. The detection radar has been absorbed by the original detection radar, and various superconducting materials and various rare metals have been added. The proportions are optimal. Adding various materials to the Starship parts is like feeding it. What to feed and what nutrients to supplement. The food that can be fed is wrong, or too little or too much. This can lead to symptoms such as indigestion of parts, food poisoning, and even direct shock and death. Too little will make you hungry and skinny, and of course its functional effects will be greatly weakened. If it's too much, it will cause suffocation, sluggishness, or even death. These factors are the main reasons for the decline in quality and turning into scrap iron. Nothing can be wrong, nothing more, and nothing less. In addition, there are too many various metal materials in the universe. Now you can somewhat understand why evolutionists are so rare, right? It really requires too much knowledge reserve. We must also use this knowledge rationally. It is simply no less difficult than those mathematicians calculating super difficult mathematical problems. Good thing. Shuzian's evolution talent is quite good and he has systematic special training. It evolved step by step without any mistakes. Radars, glass, anti-detection stealth devices, etc. are all installed and evolved. I bought few things this time and had enough funds, so I directly evolved all these things to red excellent quality this time. Even, Shuzian suspected that after the evolution this time. I am afraid that the overall quality of the brilliant how can even reach red excellence. Even if many parts are still inferior and of average quality, the overall quality cannot reach red excellence. That is definitely the most high-end blue rarity. The next evolution is when it evolves to the third level reconnaissance ship. As long as he is still rich, he is ready to tidy up some of the less important parts inside. Such as the captain's room, such as the living room, etc. Let's improve its overall quality to red excellence. Just great. Only the final invisibility coating is left. Shuzian breathed out a breath and nodded with satisfaction as he saw that the brilliant number's combat effectiveness and survivability had improved a lot. The invisibility coating. The ingredients for that thing have been prepared in advance. Kui Kanhao can directly absorb and fuse it, replacing the original coating. Well, originally there was no stealth coating at all, only the icons of the small ball and the Wuling logo. Wonderful. It's really wonderful. Just as Shuzian was immersed in giggling at the successful evolution of his work, an old voice suddenly sounded behind him, startling him. Suddenly turned around, startled. At some point, there were 20 or 30 people standing behind him. There are young people, middle-aged people, and old people. Everyone looks at themselves in different ways. There is wonderment. There is admiration. There is surprise. Be curious. The person who just spoke was an old man with white beard and hair who was surrounded by stars like a moon. Xu Ziyan was quite surprised. In this day and age, with the blessing of genetic medicine, ultra-high-end medical treatment, ultra-high-end life and other blessings, the average lifespan of ordinary people has exceeded 800 years, and there are even some elderly people who have exceeded 1,000 years. Not to mention biological warriors. There are many powerful beings who have lived for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years. Eternal life. It is no longer fiction. When the average age is 800 and life can break through eternal life. There are actually very few old men with white hair and beard. Most of them are images of young, middle-aged and middle-aged people. Don't say anything else. This old man must be very old. As for how old he is, it depends on whether the other person is a biological warrior or an ordinary person. It's definitely bigger than him anyway. Young man. Are you an evolutionist? The old man stared deeply at Xu Ziyan with his deep eyes, smiled and asked. Xu Ziyan felt a little uncomfortable with the other person's eyes. He always felt that the other person's eyes could see through his own true identity. Fortunately, 1 year of Star Wars and 1 year of fighting, a total of 2 years of life and death fighting and training, have long forged Xu Ziyan's state of mind. Hearing this, he said frankly, I am not an evolutionist and have not passed the test. I used to be self-taught, but I like the profession of evolutionist very much, and I am also planning to pass the exam for the evolutionist department of the Starfleet Academy in the Federal Imperial City. Quote. The old man's eyes suddenly flashed with shock. Even with his experience in the city, he was shocked by Xu Ziyan's words. He asked incredulously, You are just preparing to take the college entrance examination now? There are other people behind the old man, one by one. Hearing Xu Ziyan's words, everyone opened their mouths involuntarily and were stunned. After getting another affirmative reply from Xu Ziyan, the old man suddenly took a deep breath, the smile on his face faded, and he said with a very solemn expression, Young man, let me meet you. My name is Sha Dongliu. I haven't asked you my name yet. Sha Dongliu. Are you Mr. Sha Dongliu who edited the masterpiece, Some Differences and Similarities in Starship Evolution? Hearing the old man's self-introduction, Xu Ziyan asked in surprise. A smile appeared on Sha Dongliu's face. Oh, has the young man read my book? Xu Ziyan nodded repeatedly. I've seen it. I've seen it no less than 20 times. There are just a few things I don't understand. Ah, by the way, my name is Xu Ziyan. I hope my son is safe, Ziyan. Quote. Sha Dongliu became interested. What don't you understand? Come and talk to me. In the work, when it comes to generating energy shields, it is necessary to add flammable and explosive substances such as sodium nitrate. Xu Ziyan immediately expressed his confusion, but sodium nitrate will explode when heated, attacked or impacted. Once it explodes, won't it also cause a certain amount of energy loss to the energy shield itself? So I would like to ask Mr. Shaw what is the main purpose of adding materials such as sodium nitrate to the energy shield? Quote. In the public Starship factory, one old and one young had a heated discussion. The reason why I say intense. It was because the questions raised by Xu Ziyan gradually became more advanced, and Mr. Shaw explained them to Xu Ziyan while spitting. The more he explained, the more energetic Sha Lao became. Because he discovered, Xu Ziyan can be called a novice than novice on some issues. From this it can be confirmed that Xu Ziyan did not lie. His knowledge of Starship evolution is all self-taught. But, as long as he explains clearly, Xu Ziyan can often understand and comprehend it instantly, and can even draw inferences from one instance, which makes Mr. Shaw feel indescribably happy when teaching. This one is old and one is young. Then they started chatting about various evolutionary theories as if no one else was watching. The more Sha Lao talked, the more joy and affection he looked at Xu Ziyan. Genius. A true genius. This ability to understand. Even compared to the few direct disciples he taught. By the way, several of his direct disciples. Now they have become famous figures in the entire Universe Federation. And it has been more than 3,000 years since he accepted any more disciples. It's just because his conditions for accepting disciples are extremely harsh. He doesn't look down on ordinary geniuses at all. But today, at this moment, he finally felt a sense of joy again. At this time, a middle-aged man suddenly stepped forward and whispered a few words in Mr. Shaw's ear respectfully. After listening to Mr. Shaw, the smile on his face became even wider. This middle-aged man went to investigate Shu Xian's identity information, and it was exactly the same as what Shu Xian told him. Sha Dongliu immediately made up his mind. His expression became solemn and he said, "Shu Xian, do you want to become my registered disciple?" Sha Dongliu is a scholar who specializes in starship evolution. He is also a strong man who once piloted a starship to gallop on the border. His personality has always been straightforward. Now that you are thinking of taking on a disciple, just say so directly. The reason why he is a registered disciple. Very simple. Although he is extremely optimistic about Shu Xian's talent. But, when he recruits a disciple, he definitely has more than just talent. It also depends on his character. He didn't want the disciples he taught to become traitors to the human race one day and create a formidable enemy for the human race. In addition, he also had to see if Shu Xian was qualified to become his disciple. Only Shu Xian became a true registered evolutionist through his own efforts. If your character have passed the test again, only then will he truly accept Shu Xian as his personal disciple. Even closed disciples. Shu Xian was stunned. The group of people behind Mr. Shaw were also shocked. Everyone was dumbfounded and couldn't believe their ears. Mr. Shaw's status in the evolutionist circle is unquestionable. But that's why they will be shocked. You know, Mr. Shaw has not accepted another disciple for 3,000 years. Even the registered disciples have never done it. For a while, the eyes of these people looking at Shu Xian are full of envy from the soul. Jealousy is not, because they just saw clearly, how outrageous Shu Xian's potential is, and how terrifying his talent is. They consider themselves, at Shu Xian's age, he achieved this level by relying on self-study. Shu Xian was stunned, because the surprise came too suddenly. Surprise, ecstasy, excitement. Of course he also knew of the lofty status of Sha Lao in the circle of evolutionists. Therefore, it was extremely inconceivable that Mr. Shaw accepted him as a registered disciple. But, in the next second, Shu Xian reacted. Without hesitation, he bowed respectfully and said, "Xian pays homage to master." In this day and age, the master-student relationship is definitely not like that of ancient times, which is always kneeling down. Sha Dongliu laughed suddenly. His old face seemed to be a little younger, with a rosy complexion. It can be seen that he was in a good mood. He repeatedly patted Shu Xian on the shoulder, and laughed loudly, okay. But you are only a registered disciple now, and you have to rely on your own efforts to become a registered evolutionist before I can truly accept you as a disciple. I only give you 3 years. 3 years, if you still can't pass the evolutionary assessment, then we don't seem to have the fate of master and apprentice. In addition, you should know that before I actually accept you, I won't provide you with any help. Of course, if you don't understand anything, you can always ask me. Quote, "Yes, master." Shu Xian didn't have any regrets. It was already a great surprise for Mr. Shaw to accept him as a registered disciple. Help or something. Shu Xian has always adhered to the principle since he was a child, that is, relying on others is worse than relying on oneself. Only by yourself can you truly learn to grow and become stronger. Otherwise, it will only become a tarsal maggot, a giant baby that will never grow up. After Shu Xian heard what he said, his expression remained the same, without any dissatisfaction or regret. Elder Shaw couldn't help but nodded. I love Shu Xian even more from the bottom of my heart. Shu Xian's identity information from childhood to adulthood has been thoroughly investigated by him. Therefore, I also know the identity of Shu Xian from childhood to adulthood. He suddenly became his registered disciple, but he didn't get any benefit from him. People with bad temperament and moral character are afraid that their mentality will become unbalanced. But Shu Xian didn't. Elder Shaw is undoubtedly very happy today. Originally, he came to check on the maintenance of these starships. After all, these starships were damaged because of him, but I feel a little sorry to see them. He never thought that after coming here, he would reap such an unexpected joy. For a while, he pulled Shuzian, but he couldn't finish talking. People around, you look at me, I look at you. Apart from being envious, I dare not urge Mr. Shaw. They are fully capable of repairing the frigate, so there is no need for Mr. Shaw to do it. There are a few people who have also moved a little bit. For example, the middle-aged man who reported to Shuzian just now. Looking at Shuzian's eyes, it became very different. Shuzian definitely doesn't know about these. He is introducing his bright number to Mr. Shaw. And the more introduced, Elder Shaw's expression became even more shocked. Until the end, the way Sha Lao looked at Shuzian. It's like seeing a ghost. Chapter 31. Sha Dongliu felt that he greatly underestimated Shuzian's talent. Before he watched Shuzian evolve, a set of evolution process was handy and proficient. According to experience, it is estimated that the quality of some parts of Shuzian's starship has reached excellent quality, and the overall quality of the starship should also be excellent. Don't think that good quality is bad. To know. Now in the entire universe, 99% of the biological captains and starships are of ordinary quality. At least 0.10% have reached the quality of excellent and above. And, as the starship level increases, the number of high-quality starships decreases. Because the higher the level of the starship, the degree of difficulty in evolution, and there are very few evolutionists who can evolve to that level. Relying on self-study, I evolved a spaceship, like a spaceship that was scavenged into a high-quality spaceship. Sha Dongliu felt that this was definitely a super genius. However, after Shuzian's explanation, and after he personally inspected the various parts of the brilliant at close range, he was stunned. Lived for so many years. He has never seen such a super monster like Shuzian. Yes, in his mind, Shuzian is no longer a peerless genius, but a super evildoer. Only this can express the shock and horror in his heart. He just calculated carefully. Read excellent quality components. The number is as high as 7. Keel, hyperdrive, main gun, anti-aircraft guns, detection radar, cockpit glass, anti-detection cloaking device. A full 7. Evolved from spaceship all the way. Only less than half a month. Evolved to the second level. What kind of concept is it to have 7 red parts of excellent quality and 3 blue parts of rare quality? That is because the captain's cab, living room, communicator and other components are holding back. Otherwise, relying on the 7 main components that achieve the excellent quality of red, the overall quality of the brilliant will definitely be excellent in red. Unfortunately, the captain's cab, living room, communicator, locking radar, star crystal optical brain, landing gear, balancer, etc., these things are too hip. Including the life support system, gravity support system, power generator, and even the materials used in the internal circuits of the brilliant are too bad, too bad. Sha Dongliu's scalp tingled and the corners of his mouth twitched when he saw more than 20 grays of inferior quality. Sha Dongliu even had an impulse. Break the rules of accepting apprentices that you set, and help Shuzian now. At least let Shuzian evolve the extremely stretched parts of his brilliant ship to the point where they are at least eye-catching. But after thinking about it, in the end, he decided to stick to his plan. Backfired. In fact, it is not desirable. Only by allowing it to experience the wind and rain freely can it truly thrive. And he has to do it. It is to pass on what I have learned all my life to him, and to act as the umbrella that shields Shuzian from the wind and rain when he is really in despair. Shuzian didn't know what Sha Dongliu was thinking. It doesn't matter if he knows. The reason why he was pleasantly surprised by his apprentice Sha Dongliu. In fact, not much was because of Sha Dongliu's status. What's more, I can learn a lot of knowledge from him. System teaching is system teaching. But knowledge. Who would want too much? Besides, Sha Dongliu was still his idol in the evolutionist field. As for what doesn't help, again, on their own. Relying on the money I earn, I spend more confidently. Xian, these 2 days. I'm afraid I'm leaving. Sha Dongliu said with some reluctance. The two master and apprentice, even if they have just known each other for a short time. But that kind of intimacy with a tacit understanding is not determined by the length of time at all. Some people can never become true friends after knowing each other for a lifetime. Some people, just talking in a few words is regarded as a lifelong confidant. Both master and apprentice are obsessed with evolution. In addition, all aspects of personality are very suitable. It was only a few hours, but a sense of reluctance was born. Shu Xian's heart moved, and he said quickly, "Master, are those human traitors here to attack you? If this is the case, why don't you wait for more fleets to escort you?" Quote. Seeing Shu Xian's sincere words of concern, Mr. Shaw chuckled, "It's not a problem. Those little brats can't jump up in front of me. This time it was mainly due to being caught off guard. Now that you are ready, come one, die one." Quote. When he said the last sentence, old Shaw's words were already full of murderous intent. It is enough to see that Sha Lao was definitely a ruthless person who fought countless times back then. Shu Xian nodded. Since the master has his own plans, he can't say any more. What's more, his strength is low, and he can't help the master. But although I will leave this area this time, I will always pay attention to you. Elder Shaw warned solemnly. I hope you can continue to work hard, and you must not waste such a heaven-defying talent of yours. In addition, if you don't understand anything, please feel free to contact me, understand? Quote. Shu Xian nodded obediently. Understood, master. Haha, okay, I've accepted you as an apprentice today. Master invites you to a big meal. Elder Shaw immediately smiled heartily, took Shu Xian's hand affectionately, and walked out of the bright cabin with a small interior space. At this time, the repair plan for the 2 frigates had ended, and Mr. Shaw took a look at it and didn't look any more. Immediately, the group of people headed towards the most famous restaurant in the relay station. On the way, Sha Lao also introduced these people to Shu Xian. Some of these people are evolutionists, and the status is not low. For example, the middle-aged man who investigated the real situation of Shu Xian before. He is the president of the Galaxy Evolutionists Association. What is this concept? As an evolutionist, his status is inherently lofty. The president of the entire Galaxy Evolutionist Association, this identity. It is enough to be called one of the top structures of the entire galaxy. But at this time, he was following Mr. Shaw like a little follower. Whenever he talks to Shu Xian, his attitude is extremely kind. From Sha Lao's mouth, Shu Xian also knew the relationship between President Song and Sha Lao. Old Shaw's former student. In this day and age, master and apprentice are master and apprentice, teachers and students are teachers and students. The former still continues the master-student relationship from ancient times to the present. Be a teacher for a day and be a father for life. The latter, it is the teacher-student relationship. Although the relationship is very close, it can also be called the relationship of being a teacher for one day and being a father for life. But after all, it is still not as good as the master and apprentice. Master and apprentice, it is even more strictly forbidden. Although Mr. Shaw has not accepted an apprentice for 3,000 years. There are actually only a few of his direct disciples. However, this does not mean that he has no students. Mr. Shaw used to be a teacher in university and taught many evolutionist courses. It is not an exaggeration to say that peaches and plums are everywhere. President Song Yusong, president of the Earth Federation Galaxy Evolutionists Association, is one of them. I really want to talk about it. Shu Xian is still Chairman Song's Jr. Although this is just President Song putting gold on his own face. But Shu Xian will not point out this point foolishly. Since Chairman Song called him junior brother. Of course Shu Xian let the flow take its course and also called him senior brother Song. As a human being, who can't be a little tactful? Little brother, I will send you an application form later, you fill it out. Song Yu said with a smile. This is the application form for the quasi-evolutionary of our evolutionary association. I will pass it directly to you. After passing it, some parts of the Starship will be optimized and evolved in the future, and then you will be able to obtain the qualification for the assessment of a registered evolutionist. Speaking of this, Song Yu paused, seemed to think of something, and said, speaking of this, I have one thing to trouble you, little brother. One of my apprentices is usually busy, but he took over the business of evolving parts for starships. I'm worrying about being too busy. No, just ask for your help. Ah, by the way, don't worry, you will definitely not be asked to help in vain, but how much will be paid, you can discuss it yourself at that time. Quote. Shu Xian took a deep look at Song Yu. I sigh in my heart. As expected of a person who can be the chairman of the Galaxy Evolution Association. This emotional intelligence is simple. Since he was only Sha Lao's registered disciple, Song Yu began to invest in himself. And it can also please Sha Lao. As for this matter, in terms of his status, it is not even a small effort. At a price that is hardly considered a price, he can gain both his own favor and a little favor from his teacher at the same time. Tisk tisk. Human spirit, old fox. As for what to say, please help yourself. All fools know that he said this on purpose, and it seems that making friends with himself is not so utilitarian. It's just changing the words, and the nature of the matter can be defined differently. How could Shu Zian refuse such kindness? Perhaps, this is the first benefit of being under Mr. Sha's name, right? Although Sha Lao will not help himself unconditionally. However, the intangible benefits are also unimaginable. For example, Shu Zian has no reason to refuse the gift from Song Yu. You know, other ordinary evolutionists want to apply to join the Evolutionists Association. Okay, yes, heavy examination. By yourself, you only need to fill out an application, and the president of the Galactic Association will personally pass it. Obtain the qualifications of Registered Evolutionary Engineer examination. Okay, figure it out yourself. And the truth is, ordinary quasi-evolutionists want to obtain the qualifications for the assessment of registered evolutionists. You have to spend your own money to give those Starship captains, so that it is possible for the other party to agree. Under normal circumstances, even if you spend money, the captain of the biological starship will seldom agree with you, a person without any evolution experience, to evolve your own starship. Even if it's just the evolution of parts, it's impossible. This comparison, the gap is too big. This is the perfect interpretation of someone in the court who is good at being an official, right? Sure enough, after hearing the conversation between the two, Mr. Shaw turned his head and smiled at Shu Zian. Obviously, Mr. Shaw would not mind this kind of help. Because of this kind of help, in the end, Shu Zian's true strength is what matters. It is completely different from giving money, giving supplies, and so on. Except Song Yu, Shu Zian added communication methods with many people. And their identities. It also made Shu Zian's forehead burst into sweat. Originally, I was a little worried about Mr. Shaw's safety during the trip, but when I found out their true identities, well, he felt like he was just being silly. There are 3 of them, and they are the captains of the biological cruiser. Sha Lao himself, and Song Yu. The starship level of the 2 of them is even more terrifying. Shu Zian doesn't know what level Sha Lao's starship is. Shu Zian didn't ask, but Song Yu knew that it was Song Yu himself who said it. A battleship, 1 level higher than cruisers, reaching the 6th level of battleships. Shu Zian also learned from them the real reason for the attack and injuries. First of all, because the traitors of the human race also came to a battleship this time. Secondly, they knew the waterway information of Mr. Shaw and his party in advance. The arrangement started early. All kinds of very high-end cloaking devices covered the starry sky area, and all the starships of the human traitors were hidden, but they were not discovered by the starships of Sha Lao and others. Secondly, a large amount of ammunition was pre-buried in that starry sky. The incident happened suddenly. Even if Sha Lao and the others reacted immediately and resisted 99% of the damage, the remaining 0.1 damage caused many starships to be damaged or even fall. As for why Mr. Shaw and the others would take an interstellar caravan on a trip, what they were going to do, and where their destination was, Shu Zian didn't know. They didn't say it. Shu Zian didn't ask either. Without even thinking about it, it must be some confidential information. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Shu Zian still understands this matter. I have eaten. Shu Zian quickly filled out the membership application form for the Evolutionists Association. Song Yu passed in seconds. Only in the blink of an eye. Shu Zian's associate membership of the Evolutionary Association, which Shu Zian had been thinking about for a long time, was solved so easily. Once again, I deeply feel that there is a backer behind me, which is really different. And everything that happened today made him feel like he was dreaming. The people I met today, all the big shots that I didn't dare to think about before, all showed him the most friendly smile today. Even a little flattering. Really, as always shining gold. People, as long as they work hard all the time. Then opportunity and success. Always inadvertently. Meet by chance. Mr. Shaw and his party obviously have something very important to do. The original plan was to complete the repairs on the Starship and leave directly. But after accepting Shu Zian as a registered disciple, he deliberately stayed for one extra day. All day, Sha Lao is teaching Shu Zian all kinds of knowledge. And Shu Zian also felt like he had found a treasure, and he was fascinated by it. What is interesting is, Shu Zian has experienced 1 year of systematic teaching. Therefore, there are many theories that even Mr. Shaw would find novel. Then he would drag Shu Zian for a chat, and finally Sha Lao even gained a lot. To this end, before leaving, Mr. Shaw's reluctant look made Shu Zian feel funny in his heart. He can understand, because he himself is extremely reluctant. For those who are obsessed with starships and starship evolution, this kind of discussion about starships made them sink the most. Anyway, Shu Zian really learned a lot of knowledge. But that's okay. It will be different in the future. You can leave a message to Mr. Shaw through the communication at any time. As long as Mr. Shaw has time, he will reply as soon as possible. Old Shaw, too busy. Watch that huge, shocking fleet leave. Shu Zian couldn't calm down for a long time. Only then did he see Mr. Shaw's starship clearly. It was a starship with a length of more than 4,000 meters. Reached the 7th level, beyond the battleship. Deep space ship. In the entire Earth Federation, the most powerful starship is only a Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyer is the 8th level of starship. And Mr. Shaw's starship has reached the 7th level. You know, Mr. Shaw has participated in the war since he was young. He no longer focused on his own cultivation. He devoted himself wholeheartedly to the research of evolutionists. But even so, after a long period of time, it has reached the level of a deep space ship. It is even more conceivable that Mr. Shaw's status in the entire Earth Federation. No, Mr. Shaw's status in the field of evolutionists surpasses that of the Earth Federation and is famous throughout the Universe Federation. This is why the human traders dispatched battleships and arranged so many means to attack Mr. Shaw. But obviously, the human traders far underestimated the power of Sha Lao's starship. Those arrangements that could destroy ordinary deep space ships several times did not even break the defense of Sha Lao's starship. Can only say, it's not that the human traders were not fully prepared, it's that Mr. Shaw's starship was too powerful. Look away. Shu Zian slowly adjusted his mentality. This opportunity is indeed very big, or it can be said to be a huge opportunity. However, I was determined not to be dazzled by the sudden pie. The power of Mr. Shaw belongs to Mr. Shaw. Own. Just a small second-level biological reconnaissance ship captain. This point must be made clear. The road ahead of me is still far, far away. Shake your head and don't think about it anymore. The last 2 steps of the brilliance. In other words, the stealth coating that had been left aside for a day or two was absorbed and fused. As well as the metals and materials used to upgrade the starship to the 2nd level, they were also absorbed by the brilliance one by one. This is a process of evolution, or optimization, of the brilliant. Wait until the last pile of composite material is fully absorbed and fused. Shu Zian's body shook suddenly. The bottleneck that suppressed his realm was broken away. Since then, the brilliant has reached Tier 2 scout ship. Shu Zian's personal realm. He also broke through and became a 2nd-rank fighter. All in all happened in less than half a month. When fighting for special admissions exams, evolve the brilliant number to Tier 3. That time, basically, Shu Zian thinks that there is absolutely no chance for a special recruitment spot. Name: Shu Zian. Realm: Warrior 2. Starship: Brilliance Blue Rare. Bioenergy: 150. Evolution value: 13. Wealth value: 66. Shu Zian expected well. It's really just the overall quality of blue rarity. No way. Those parts that are not particularly important are really too hip. Shu Zian already knew the plan to evolve to the 3rd level. The 3rd level, while improving the quality of all parts to excellent. The 3 parts, energy shield, hull armor, and core armor, are the next core evolution modules. If there is no money, then blue rare quality. Rich, then red excellent quality. Higher quality. Shu Zian didn't think about it. In the systematic evolutionary simulation, none of them have been deduced to exceed the excellent quality of red. Of course, that's because the highest quality of simulation teaching for the most junior first-grade evolutionist is only red excellence. Only when the simulation teaching of the second-rank and third-rank evolutionists behind the system is turned on, will there be higher quality simulation teaching. The Starship has evolved. Shu Zian, ready to start the next action. What he planned was the 1.5 months before the special recruitment exam. Try to get more evolution points. Otherwise, if the Starship parts are evolved on a large scale, the evolution value may really not be enough. And want to get more evolutionary value. Undoubtedly only to pick up those high-risk tasks. Just when Shu Zian was about to open the website of the Star Hunters Guild. A friend request, sent a few hours ago. The time just happened to be when Sha Lao and the others left. Click to open it, and it is immediately clear. Chen Shanchuan applied to add your communication friend. Application. Is it the little uncle? I am your nephew. Seeing this, Shu Zian touched his nose. It seems that after worshipping Mr. Shah as a teacher, my seniority in the circle of evolutionists seems to be quite high. Pass immediately. Chen Shanchuan immediately sent a message. Chen Shanchuan. Hello, little uncle. I am your nephew Chen Shanchuan. Chen Shanchuan. Master said that you can help my nephew by upgrading a parts business I took over, right? That's great. Chen Shanchuan. Thank you little uncle, I am really too busy. Chen Shanchuan. Well, little uncle, when you have time, I will bring this client to you. You are on the home planet of the solar system, right? Parent star. It is the name of the Earth Federation humans for the Earth. At least half of the humans in the Earth Federation originated from the mother planet Earth. And looking at the other party's message, Shu Zian couldn't laugh or cry. This pair of actors, master and apprentice, learn how to act. Talking about it is too busy. The result was good. He took the initiative to send customers to the Earth. What a mess. Shu Zian knew the opponent's location. In the main star system of the current Milky Way. It is tens of thousands of light years away from the solar system. Time to come. Can you give a small low-level reconnaissance ship time to evolve? All right. Shu Zian accepted this sentiment. Reply immediately. Shu Zian. Thank you. So 1 month later. Because 1 month later, Shu Zian felt that he should have earned a lot of evolution points. Chen Shanchuan. No problem. 1 month later today, on time. The little uncle is busy, so the nephew will not bother you haha. Shu Zian. Thank you. Chen Shanchuan. You are too polite, little uncle. In the future, you can just greet me if you have something to do, and my nephew will do it for you, going up the mountain of swords and going down into the sea of fire. Facing this pair of fine masters and apprentices, Shu Zian said a few polite words with a smile, and then closed the communication chat between the two. Opened the Star Hunter Guild website. At this time, my own information has become a 1-star hunter because I completed a task. The Interstellar Hunters Guild has an internal hunter level rating standard. The higher the level of the hunter, the more high-paying tasks he can accept. The only way to increase the level is to complete a large number of tasks to obtain hunter points. Once the task fails, a lot of hunter points will be deducted, resulting in a decrease in level and completion percentage. Now Shu Zian is a 1-star hunter, 1 point, 100% completion rate. To upgrade to a 2-star hunter, you need to complete 99 1-star missions and 1 mission with 2-star difficulty. However, Shu Zian is now a 1-star hunter, but he can also accept missions up to 3 stars. Completing even one of the 3-star missions can directly promote him to 2-star, and the reward is very high. For high-risk tasks, definitely choose the 1-star difficulty. For example, follow the Federal fleet to suppress bandits. Although the risk is high, there is no need to worry about being used as cannon fodder by the Federation fleet. Teaming up with other teams is very likely to be used as cannon fodder. The difference is that with other high-risk tasks, the reward will be much less. The pay is small, and there is ultimately too much. There are pirates to kill, and there is evolution value, which is the key point. Picked a lot. A Federal fleet closest to the relay station was selected. This Federal fleet is a fleet led by biological frigates. The fleet belonging to the Federation has a total of 7 ships including frigates, 2 biological starships, and 5 mechanical starships. The daily salary is 800 yuan, which is less than working as a security guard in a mine. But as a guard in the mine, there may not be any interstellar pirates to kill. In the Federation fleet, it is aimed at interstellar pirates. Hunt down the interstellar pirates everywhere. Get it directly. In addition, there is another benefit of auxiliary federal fleet. A salary of 800 yuan a day is not high. But all the fuel and ammunition will be borne by the Federation for you, so it's over. But Starship damage in battle, that's your business. Task received. According to the task guide, let Shu Zian arrive at a nearby interstellar coordinate point the day after tomorrow. Shu Zian will not waste the remaining 2 days. The current wealth value is enough, and the biological energy has been continuously improved, so there is no need to increase it now. Breaking through to the 3rd rank warrior's bioenergy peak is 60 points on the basis of 150 points, which is 210 points. The current wealth value is enough, but it is not necessary. Shu Zian believes that using wealth points to increase one's Star Wars skills is the most important thing. 2 days in a row. Of the 66 wealth points, Shu Zian spent a full 30 points on a Star Wars simulation. We will soon follow the Federation fleet to hunt down interstellar pirates. If you can add some Star Wars skills, add some. And 3 times in a row means 3 consecutive years in the system. 3 consecutive years of fighting. Shu Zian almost had a nervous breakdown. Fortunately, he has now broken through to the level of a 2nd-grade warrior, and his mental strength is much stronger than before, otherwise he would not be able to withstand such an intense Star Wars battle. In addition, the Star Wars battlefield simulated by the system this time is also different from the first time. Perhaps due to the improvement of Shu Zian's Star Wars strength, these 3 Star Wars simulations were all assigned different difficulties. The second time was a little harder than the first. The third time was a little more difficult than the second time. The fourth time is hard. I don't know how many times I died before I finally cleared the 4th Star Wars simulation. The 4th simulated Star Wars battlefield is much larger. Even Shu Zian's targets are basically high-level reconnaissance ships and even low-level frigates. Even though the system perfectly replicated the performance of the Brilliance, the level difference was too big. The last 3 days of the 3rd year, Shu Zian relied on his familiarity with the battlefield environment to blow up the low-level frigate of the insect race. Although the Brilliant number is almost riddled with holes. But after all, he defeated the opponent once. On the last day, when the situation of the Brilliant was slightly better, the opponent was defeated. Fortunately, the simulated starship is a bug-human starship. If it were an inhuman starship with thick skin and fierce attack power. Unless Shu Zian is given another year, he will only be beaten by the opponent again and again. Fortunately, the 3 years of system time were finally over. Shu Zian fell asleep like crazy, almost waking up at the critical moment when he was about to be late. There was no time to wash up and eat. He hurriedly took an unmanned space shuttle and rushed towards the parking cabin. Let's take care of things like washing up, eating, etc. on board the Kraken. He maneuvered the Brilliance out of the entrance and exit smoothly, locked the position, and immediately started the pulse jump. At the same time, on a small, desolate planet with relatively low gravity, a fleet is parked here waiting. These fleets, even the biological starships, are all standard models of the Federation, not to mention the mechanical starships, which are all standard starships. The so-called standard biological starship. It is a systematic evolutionary system. From the moment the first starship was bound, it was exactly the same. The starships have the same style and quality. After binding, there will be no difference in the evolution plan. But similarly, the quality of the starships evolved in this way is not much higher. The biological starships of the Earth Federation Army are all uniformly green and of high quality. Not bad, but definitely not great either. Of course, there are also some biological captains of the Federation Army who spend their own money to evolve starships, and this is also allowed. A more powerful captain would choose this way, but a reconnaissance captain or biological captain would definitely not choose this way. Here, except for the Federal Army, there are also 5 assorted biological starships. They are all interstellar hunters who took on this mission like Shu Zian this time. In the open space in front of the fleet, A burly man wearing medium-sized space armor raised his hand from time to time to look at the time displayed on the optical brain, and then looked around, his expression filled with impatience. Captain Zhang, how about we leave first? I'm afraid that person won't come. Yeah, I don't even have a sense of time. I don't want to act with this person, it's unreliable. Come on, let's go, my starship is already thirsty. Quote. Those who spoke were the 5 hired captains of civilian creatures. The burly man known as Captain Zhang frowned, and although he was impatient, he still said in a deep voice, please wait a moment. There is 1 minute left before the final time of the assembly. If he doesn't come in 1 minute, we will, Quote. The words are not finished yet. His eyes suddenly froze and he immediately looked in a certain direction. That's the sound of an object breaking through the atmosphere at high speed. Theoretically, every planet will produce gas and have an atmosphere. Of course, this is only theoretical. In fact, there are still many planets without atmospheres, such as the Moon. Because the Moon's own gravity is too small, it cannot absorb a large number of gas molecules on the surface of the Moon, so it cannot produce an atmosphere. However, the Moon of this era has an atmosphere, which is the result of the artificial atmosphere and gravity maintenance system. Planets with atmospheres only differ in the difference, thinness and thickness of the gas. For example, the atmosphere of this planet contains very little oxygen and is mainly composed of nitrogen, which accounts for 99%. The atmosphere composed of 99% nitrogen will cause huge friction when the starship breaks through the atmosphere and enters the planet, and the natural sound will be loud. The Brilliance had just entered the atmosphere when a huge sound of breaking through the air was heard. They all looked up and looked in the direction of the sound. Just a blink of an eye. Then a black shadow as fast as lightning could be seen flashing past, so fast that it even left sections of phantoms behind it. When it was about to approach the surface of the planet, it suddenly slowed down again, from a speed of over 1,000 meters per second to a speed of 1 or 2 meters per second, and finally stopped steadily in an empty space next to the fleet. Such a familiar manipulation method made many people look solemn. And when I saw that this starship had no trace of its previous evolution, no one dared to underestimate this starship. Even Captain Zhang showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. He looked at Xu Zian's personal information displayed on the Huawei brand military optical computer watch, and his expression couldn't help but look a little weird. First order biological reconnaissance ship. So this starship called Brilliance evolved from a spaceship. Captain Zhang was a little helpless. He seriously doubted the combat effectiveness of this brilliant ship. But the mission has been accepted, and he has no reason to drive them away. There is no other way but to fight the interstellar pirates. Let him attack from the outside, not from the front line. He really doesn't know. Where does this Xu Zian get the courage? The First Order biological reconnaissance ship dares to take on such a mission. Lengtacheng, are newborn calves afraid of tigers? At first, he thought that Xu Zian was a child of a powerful family, driving some kind of rising star or future star on missions. The result is this. The Brilliance is parked. The hatch opened, and a young man wearing a tattered ultralight space armor walked out. Judging from the tattered appearance of his armor, one even wonders if it is leaking. Judging from the glass visor of the helmet, this man is quite young, but quite handsome. But handsome, can you make those pirates show mercy to you? Captain Zhang sighed. Sorry, some things were delayed. Fortunately, we arrived at the last time. As soon as Xu Zian came over, he immediately started apologizing. Those biological captains who didn't know the specific strength of the Xu Zian starship all showed kind smiles. It's okay, you're not late either. Yes, from now on, we will be comrades in arms on the same front, so don't be so polite. Why don't you rest and let's go again? They are called a good talker. It was completely opposite to Xu Zian's attitude before his arrival. It's just that there is doubt in the eyes. Why is this captain, who looks like a master, wearing such a dilapidated space armor? Could it be the maverick of a master? Captain Zhang didn't say much, but said in a deep voice with no expression on his face, since everyone is here, let me speak. Everyone stood up one after another, and Xu Zian also went to stand beside the group of foreign captains, and the chubby captain next to him smiled kindly at Xu Zian. Captain Zhang continued. We are the Federation Army of the Earth Federation's Red Moon Star region, Milky Way galaxy, and Flying Fish star system. Accept the mission this time, and go to clear up the interstellar pirates within 7.5 light-years outside the Flying Fish star system. And we are the Osprey Squad of the 9th Battalion and the 5th Squadron of the Flying Fish Solar System Federation Army. My name is Zhang Chengji, and I am the captain of the Osprey team. This is Lu Yun, the vice captain of our team. Quote, Lu Yun is the captain of the only biological reconnaissance ship in the Osprey team. It is a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. I don't know the exact level, but I only know that it is a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. At the same time, she is the only female in the Osprey team. Her appearance is relatively ordinary, and her face is a fortitude type that is rare for girls. The kind with a very strong body and short hair. At first glance, people who don't know it think it's a man. Captain Zhang introduced the remaining team members. A total of 15 people. Because they are all mechanical reconnaissance ships, and the best operators of mechanical reconnaissance ships are a captain and 2 crew members. 5 mechanical scout ships, that's 15 people. The personnel are introduced. The next step is to assign tasks. In my squad, there is only one rule: follow orders unconditionally. Since you have accepted this task, I hope that you will not disobey the order then. It's enough to kill yourself, but also kill our teammates. After Captain Zhang finished speaking seriously, he began to deploy. Wu Jing, the captain of the 7th Order Biological Reconnaissance Ship. Your level is the highest. When the time comes you will follow me as the capital ship of the attack. Quote, the man named Wu Jing was a tall, thin, indifferent middle-aged man, and he was the only one who didn't say hello after Xu Ziyan arrived. His arrogance is understandable. After all, everyone is an intermediate or even a low-level scout ship. He is the only captain of a high-level reconnaissance ship, the second expert of the team, and indeed he has the capital of his arrogance. After some arrangements, it was finally Xu Ziyan's turn. Captain Zhang looked at Xu Ziyan, and said calmly, Xu Ziyan, the captain of the First Order Biological Reconnaissance Ship. Your strength is the lowest among us here. If you fight, you can harass and attack in the back row, and try to avoid confrontation with the enemy. Quote. Accompanied by Captain Zhang's words, everyone looked at Xu Ziyan in unison. His eyes were full of astonishment. 1. The captain of the Tier 1 Biological Reconnaissance Ship. Everyone was astonished, suddenly realized what happened. Xu Ziyan, the Starship. I'm afraid it evolved from a spaceship, right? No wonder he was wearing such a tattered spacesuit. Then everything can be explained. No, you, the captain of a Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship, came here to join in the fun. No matter how bad they are still intermediate biological reconnaissance ships. Even the 5 mechanical reconnaissance ships of the Osprey team are mid-level. Impressed, the chubby captain beside Xu Ziyan froze with a smile on his face. He stared at Xu Ziyan in astonishment for a while, but finally said nothing, turned his head away and stopped talking to Xu Ziyan. The era of space and interstellar voyages in which strength is the most important thing and starships are the most important thing. It's just so realistic. Xu Ziyan didn't care either. First Order Biological Reconnaissance Ship. That's because he didn't update his information. What's more, the gap between the first level and the second level is not very big, and it has no direct impact on receiving tasks. As for Captain Zhang's arrangement, Xu Ziyan did not have any objections. To be honest, it is indeed a little risky for him to hunt down interstellar pirates with his strength, and it is best to be safe now. When the fight starts, I will find a chance to start doing it myself, and it will not affect anything. Arrangement is complete. Captain Zhang waved his hand. Everyone board the ship. According to Federal intelligence, the ultra-small interstellar pirate gang, the Black Crow Gang, carried out a robbery at the interstellar coordinate point 3 days ago. Our first goal is to completely sink this Black Duck interstellar pirate team. Quote. Yes, everyone answered in unison. Then they all ran towards their starships. Xu Ziyan also boarded his Splendor. The whole process. No one spoke a word to him again. As if the initial enthusiasm was just an illusion. Xu Ziyan doesn't care about this kind of thing, he only needs evolution value. Evolution value. Evolution value. Then kill the parts behind the enemy. Speaking of which, whoever kills the parts of the enemy's starship counts. Therefore, in Shu Xian's eyes, the only option is to kill pirates. Boom! Starship engines started up one after another, led by Zhang Chengji's Osprey biological reconnaissance ship, Wu Jing and Deputy Captain Lu Yun's Changyan as assistants. A total of 13 starships pierced into the sky mighty, and the tail of the engine was like a tail of the engine energy evaporated fog to draw 13 white sailing clouds. At the same time, Zhang Chengji connected the communications of their 6 external starships, and marked the route and target location on the star map. Break through the thick atmosphere of this unknown planet and rush into space. One after another starships turned their directions, locked onto the course, and entered the pulse transition stage one by one. This place is 1.78 light-years away from the target. Shu Xian needs a full-distance pulse transition and a short-distance pulse transition, a total of 2 times to arrive. In this evolution, the pulse engine has no additional evolution quality. However, after the overall deep optimization, the distance has increased slightly. From the original full distance of 1.2 light-years, it has increased to 1.3 light-years. In fact, it is very scary to increase the distance of 0.1 light-years just by deep optimization. And this is the high foundation brought by the blue rare quality itself. Only one deep optimization has increased the distance by 0.1 light-years, which is very powerful. At the same time, the jump distance increased, but the jump time was shortened by about 1 minute. Now a full distance jump can be reached in only about 29 minutes. Talk is better than nothing. The pulse transition begins. The Brilliant is entering an automatic transition. Shu Xian took the opportunity to warm up a meal for himself. On the way to jump, Shu Xian tidied up his personal hygiene and took a shower. Now eat and go to the toilet, the schedule is full. What Shu Xian bought was the most common self-heating food. The self-heating food of today's era is naturally different from the self-heating food of the 21st century Earth. For example, the self-heating braised mutton rice bowl with a net weight of 850 grams in Shu Xian's hand only needs to press a one-time button on the packaging box. The self-heating rice can return to normal from the state of instant heat and freshness in a second. That is, it is just freshly fried and served out of the pot. This is the ultra-high convenience brought by ultra-high technology. The food has just been cooked, and it is directly locked with the instant heat lock and freshness lock technology. The energy plate installed in the packaging box is enough to keep it in this state for a full 500 years. This is still the lowest-end food for civilian use, if it is for military use or high-end civilian food. The longer the time, of course the materials and taste will be better. But, Shu Xian is not bad at eating. Anyway, he thinks the taste is okay and he can eat it. After a few bites, I'm full. He ran to the small living room again, opened the folding toilet and squatted down for a while, and after replying to Qin Fuyu with a few communication messages, Shi Shiren walked to the captain's cab. Speaking of Qin Fuyu, she has already left Haitang. Since yesterday, I have been asking if there is any mission that I can take her with. Or the two simply form a hunter team. Shu Xian is the captain and she is the vice captain. Then the two of them dominated the galaxy and lived invincible. Shu Xian pretended not to see it. I thought that second-degree disease was only found in boys. The ghost knows that Qin Fuyu, who is so charming, also suffers from the second type of illness. God dominates the galaxy, immortal and invincible. Rely on their two low-level scout ships. The reason why Shu Xian never agreed to bring Qin Fuyu along was also very simple. Take her, she drove a future star to hunt pirates. Those pirates are fools, and they will focus on her first. At that time, will Shu Xian be saved or not? A woman, it will only affect my Captain Shu. Ah bah, my Shu Xian's ship speed. Thoughts are spinning. The second jump is also over. Came to a very strange starry sky. In this starry sky, there are many meteorite belts and asteroid belts. In the extreme distance, there is another star that should be a super red giant star illuminating this side from the star map. Shu Xian immediately became serious and concentrated all his energy. In this strange interstellar region with many meteorite belts and many asteroid belts. The ghost knows what danger is hidden, and the ghost knows where the Black Crow gang is hiding. A fatal blow may appear at any time, so he should be fully focused. In the communicator, everyone, be careful. Interstellar pirates are known for being cunning and fierce. Try to stay away from those meteorite belts and asteroid belts, so as not to touch the activation devices of some bombs. Zhang Chengji's voice came clearly. Needless to say, after replacing a brand new communicator, the effect is much better. Although it only cost a little over 1,000 yuan, it was still better than the one I had dismantled from a junkyard spaceship. Everyone is not a novice, even Zhang Chengji knows what to do without reminding him. Zhang Chengji obviously understood this, but after saying this, he was silent for a moment, and then said, "Brilliant. Come fly to the middle of the fleet. I don't want you to be attacked by pirates later." Quote. Zhang Chengji was speechless, but as an Earth Federation army member, he would still abide by his responsibilities and mission. Seeing the weakest Xu Ziyan in a more dangerous position, he still couldn't do it. Xu Ziyan doesn't talk nonsense, just do whatever Zhang Chengji says. He drove the Brilliance to the middle of the fleet and flew slowly. Seeing Xu Ziyan being so obedient, Zhang Chengji felt a little better. I'm afraid of the kind who are weak and arrogant and disobedient. If you hurt yourself, you will hurt others. The communicator went silent, everyone was alert to the surroundings, and the fleet moved silently. In the cockpit of the Brilliance, Xu Ziyan is always paying attention to the real-time information returned by the detection radar. After this evolution, the detection radar has reached red excellence quality. He is confident that the detection rate of the Brilliance's detection radar is even stronger than that of Zhang Chengji's frigate. Although Zhang Chengji's is a frigate's detection radar, it is of a higher level. But the level is high, only the detection range is determined. The quality determines the detection rate. Unless it is of a much higher level, the detection rate of Zhang Chengji's detection radar cannot be as good as that of the Brilliance. The so-called detection rate is the detection success rate. If a stealth device is installed on an enemy starship and a stealth coating is sprayed on the hull, its stealth efficiency will be determined by the quality of the opponent's device and coating. If the stealth efficiency is high, the probability of being scanned by detection radar is low. With a red detection radar of excellent quality, Xu Ziyan is confident that as long as the enemy's starship appears within the detection range of the Brilliance detection radar, as long as the enemy's level is not particularly high, it will basically be discovered by the Brilliant in the first place. Report: found metal debris in the meteorite belt ahead. Suddenly, the report from Lu Yun on the communicator made everyone feel solemn, and they quickly looked in the direction indicated. As expected, it can be seen that in the meteorite belt, there are some metal fragments floating, which look like spaceships or starships. In short, they are products produced by industry, not things naturally formed by the universe. This should be the area where they fought 3 days ago. This is the wreckage of a spaceship that was sunk by pirates. Zhang Chengji's voice came soon after, with a firm tone. I can confirm that the information is correct. The Black Crow has indeed appeared here. Everyone, please be careful. Yes, okay, everyone answered in unison. But the fact is that for the next 4 days, I browsed almost everywhere in the area, but no trace of the Black Crow interstellar pirate gang was found. But everyone is used to this situation. Universe. How large and how vast. The universe is an all-round 3-dimensional space. You can hide in front, back, left, right, above your head, or under your feet. In addition, the universe is really too big, and the unit of measurement is in cosmic units. Even though the starry sky seems small. In fact, it's so big that it's scary and terrifying. It is not so easy to find a pirate gang with only a dozen starships in this area. Sometimes it is common to pursue for months, years, or more than 10 years. Xu Ziyan certainly won't wait that long. 3 more days. A total of 7 days. If there is no trace of the enemy within 7 days, you will voluntarily apply to withdraw from this mission. Then go to the next task. He doesn't have that much time to spend. Fortunately, maybe God heard his call. Just when this idea fell, suddenly, the detection radar suddenly issued a large number of warnings, and immediately on the star map, the detection radar scanned and marked out the information of a total of 17 starships. And they are hiding in a dense meteorite belt in front right. Xu Ziyan focused his eyes, and without hesitation pressed the communicator Dashanhui to report. Be careful, there are 17 suspected pirate targets on the front right. There was a silence in the communicator. No one replied to Xu Ziyan immediately. Apparently, Shu Zian subconsciously looked towards the detection screen of his detection radar at the first moment when Shu Zian issued the warning. But none of them saw a single hair. In Wu Jing's account, Wu Jing's angry voice came in vain. What's wrong with you? What nonsense. Where are the traces of interstellar pirates? If you are not strong enough, you will follow. No one will say anything about you, but you are now reporting false information indiscriminately. However, before his voice fell, the roar from Zhang Chengji resounded in the cockpit of every starship. Enemy attack. The roar was as loud as thunder, and it immediately interrupted Wu Jing's words behind him. Wu Jing, who was still teaching Shu Zian a lesson, trembled all over with fright. This time he stopped looking at his detection radar, and hastily raised his head to look in the direction Shu Zian said. Suddenly, the body trembled. See, more than a dozen shells from the main gun and dozens of shells from the secondary gun shot towards them at high speed, so fast that they didn't even have time to dodge, so they had to rely on the shield of the ship to resist. Fortunately, everyone has been fighting with interstellar pirates all year round, and the defense of starships is the most fancy. Even if all the attacks in this round are solid, there won't be too many problems. In contrast, Shu Zian. As soon as the enemy was discovered, he began to operate quickly. While operating, report to the fleet. He was well prepared, and faced the first round of sneak attacks without any pressure. In addition, the enemy did not use the locking radar to lock them or launch missiles in order to prevent being discovered, so these attacks can be easily avoided. Of course, even if the incident happened suddenly, Shu Zian has spent a total of 4 years fighting in the Star Wars simulation. This level of sneak attack will not affect him at all. But others suffer. There was no time to think about why Shu Zian, who was the weakest in their eyes, was able to spot the enemy before them, and was only concerned with avoiding and defending. For a while, rumbling explosions. The shield swings when the shock wave hits the starship's shield. And the light from the explosion make this slightly dark space. It stands out brilliantly. Interstellar wars always come out of nowhere. This starry sky is the territory of the Black Crow interstellar pirates. A large number of ultra-small detection devices are installed. I'm afraid they were detected when they came over a few days ago. Then it has been hidden in this meteorite belt. This meteorite belt must have been equipped with a stealth device, so that none of the dozen or so starships of the Black Crow interstellar pirates were discovered. If it wasn't for the fact that Shu Zian's Brilliant was equipped with a red detection radar of excellent quality, it would have suffered a big loss this time. Although Shu Zian reminded the people in the rear fleet to still maintain a skeptical attitude. But in the end, there is a little more vigilance. Especially the direction pointed out by Shu Zian is a little more vigilant. It is enough. At least there is no starship loss in the sneak attack. Counterattack. Spread out the positions to avoid being affected. At the same time, pay attention to avoiding, and be careful not to be set on fire. In addition, divide into 3 teams. I will lead the team to attract a lot of firepower from the front. Chengyan and Wu Jing, each of you will lead a team to outflank it from the left and right sides. We are in an open area, and they are in the meteorite belt. There are meteorites that can serve as shields. If we don't rush over, we will definitely die. Give it to me. Zhang Chengji's roar was loud and hasty, but his thinking was very calm and organized. Hearing his order, everyone immediately had a plan, and they were no longer as flustered and messy as when they were attacked just now. Zhang Chengji took the lead and rushed up with the people. Wu Jing and Lu Yun also chose their own teammates and outflanked them from the side. Wu Jing did not choose Shu Zian. He looked down on Shu Zian and was afraid of dragging his feet. Even at this moment, they still didn't understand why Shu Zian was able to find the enemy's traces before they did. But perhaps Shu Zian observed it with the naked eye through a scope. It must be so. Zhang Chengji did not choose Shu Zian to join his frontal assault team, because Shu Zian was of the lowest rank and the most dangerous frontal. Wu Jing simply didn't like it. It is impossible for Lu Yun not to choose. In addition to Shu Zian, there was also the fat biological captain, and a mechanical starship of the Osprey team. A total of 4 starships are used as the outflanking team on the right. Brilliant, take care of yourself. Before leaving, Lu Yun actually gave Shu Zian an extra word of advice, with a hint of concern in his tone. Now, after all, they are comrades in arms. As for the soldiers, the most important thing is to pay attention to the friendship of comrades in arms. What's more, Shuzian's reminder just now did bring a little buffer to the Osprey team. Shuzian was still the same, with very few words, but very straightforward. Follow me, move forward at the maximum speed, I will adapt to your speed. Lu Yun immediately commanded the departure, and at the same time ordered in the communicator. The 4 starships began to advance at the fastest speed of the engine. There is no doubt that Lu Yun's starship is the fastest. Shuzian initially estimates that her starship must be around Tier 6, and she is only 1 step away from a Tier 7 reconnaissance ship. But what surprised Lu Yun, that fat captain, and the Federation soldiers on that mechanical starship was the brilliant No, which is the least likely to keep up with Lu Yun, is closely following behind the Chang'an number. Its speed is almost as fast as Lu Yun. Lu Yun was stunned. The fat captain was stunned. The 3 Federal soldiers were also stunned. The expression was extremely astonished. And Lu Yun seemed to think of something, and quickly turned on the detection radar. But this time, the main goal is to detect the candy. Result: Lu Yun was dumbfounded. On her detection radar, only Fatty's starship, and that mechanical starship. The brilliant, not even a shadow. It's directly blank. What does this prove? This proves, as if, maybe, they had far underestimated the true strength of the brilliance. Either it's the brilliant number that's really first level, but the quality of its evolution is particularly awesome. Either the Kraken number is actually at a very high level, but it has never gone to the Federation to update the information. Other than that, there is no other possibility. Just when Lu Yun was about to say something, a few shells hit them. At this time, it was a state of war, and there was no time to think about the brilliant issue. Lu Yun's hoarse voice shouted, "Get ready to engage the enemy. All are free to attack." Finished shouting, she can't care about anything else. He directly manipulated the Chang'an and launched a counterattack. At this time, their right team had reached the edge of the meteorite belt. As long as you go deeper, you can fight the pirates head-on inside the meteorite belt. It doesn't matter if the pirates are more familiar with this place, at least it's better than fighting them outside. As long as you fight head-on, there is nothing to be afraid of when both sides have cover. Shuzian. At this moment, it has also entered a real fighting state. Now that Lu Yun gave the order to attack freely, the warlike blood in Shuzian's body was instantly activated. Turn on the engine power to the maximum, like a wandering elf in the barrage of bullets, dodging the shells elegantly and limitlessly while flying. In 4 years of war with the insects and inhumans, Shuzian had long developed the ability to dodge to the extreme. Not to mention that he was hit by thousands of artillery shells and not even a single bullet hit him. That would be a bit bragging. But Shuzian could only manage to get hit by 2 or 3 out of 100 rounds, or even miss one. Anti-aircraft guns are also completely different in his hands. The anti-aircraft guns of other starships fired wildly to intercept them. Shuzian's anti-aircraft gun is an ultra-precise interception. Whenever there is a shell that cannot be avoided, or it is locked by a missile, only then will several light bullets from the anti-aircraft cannon be accurately fired, blasting them into the air. While dodging, Shuzian will not be idle. The main gun and the secondary gun were fired at extremely tricky angles. Even if the enemy is hiding behind dense meteorites, Shuzian can always find a gap to attack and hit the opponent. Although it is no longer the key point, it is also very good for the main gun to damage the unimportant parts of the opponent's starship. No matter how bad it is to consume the opponent's energy shield, it is also very good. On the battlefield, suddenly formed an extremely sharp contrast. Behind them, Lu Yun and his 3 mid-level scout ships were struggling to move forward amidst constant beatings. In contrast, the junior scout ship Candy, dodging left and right. I don't know how to dodge a large number of shell attacks in a weird way. The most important thing is that he can counterattack, and he doesn't have many counterattacks, but he can hit the enemy 7 times out of 10. This is already an extremely terrifying hit rate. This picture, as weird as it could be, not only did they stare blankly at Lu Yun and the others, even those pirates all looked dull. This starship. What the hell is it? What the hell is this? In the back, in the Chang'an, which was struggling to avoid and defend against shells and missiles, Luyun grasped her short hair without looking, her eyes widened and she screamed like a pig. She is a federal soldier who fights interstellar pirates all year round. Only then can we better understand how outrageous the battle behavior of the brilliant number was. First of all, the brilliance had to be powerful enough, otherwise the hull strength, engine power, and agility would not be enough to support such a dodge. Secondly, the Captain Shu Xian has super talent and strength in Star Wars. Perhaps this kind of combat behavior can be done by a powerful captain who has experienced hundreds of battles on the border, but don't forget that Shu Xian's Brilliant is a first-order reconnaissance ship. Okay, even if it's not the first level, it's still just a scout ship. How much combat experience do you expect from a reconnaissance ship? Could it be that he is bound twice? Right. It must be so. Lu Yun and the others immediately confirmed this guess. Guess not guessing. Talk about it later. We are currently fighting a war and have no time to think about anything else. With the Brilliance charging ahead, it basically attracted at least 50% of the firepower for them. Their pressure suddenly decreased, and they began to increase their horsepower, charging closely behind the Brilliance. Ahead, Shu Xian was concentrating on driving the Brilliance, moving forward leisurely amidst the hail of bullets. Compared to the intensity in the Star Wars simulation, there is too much difference here. Inhumans and buggers in Star Wars simulation, every one of them is truly experienced in many battles. And their starships are very powerful, and their comprehensive combat capabilities far exceed those of these interstellar pirates. Suddenly, a low-level enemy biological reconnaissance ship revealed a gap. Shu Xian knew that the opportunity to truly break through the defense had come. Without hesitation, in almost a few tenths of a second, he instantly changed the attack angles of the main and secondary guns, and aimed directly with combat instinct. Whoosh! The warhead of a pulse-penetrating bullet penetrated the opponent's energy shield with almost no obstruction, and then penetrated the opponent's cab. Before the energy shield had time to make up for this penetration point, several high-explosive bombs from the secondary guns followed closely behind, and exploded in the opponent's cockpit. The cab was instantly filled with high-explosive blasting power and countless shrapnel in the warheads. This biological captain died instantly. Even if he was wearing super-heavy space armor, any armor would be useless against several high-explosive warheads of this caliber. It might not be able to penetrate his armor, but the shock wave would be enough to turn him into a pulp inside the armor. A low-level warrior. It is impossible to have too high physical defense capabilities. After killing the starship in the blink of an eye, a huge gap appeared in the sky. Shu Xian immediately controlled the Brilliance to follow the gap, and finally rushed into the meteorite belt before the enemy had time to react. Once you enter the meteorite belt, you truly have the capital to mediate with the other party. The opponent can hide behind the meteorite, and so can oneself. The Brilliance rushed into the meteorite belt, startling the enemies, and turned their guns to attack Shu Xian. The pressure on the Chang'an and other 3 starships dropped sharply again. Taking this opportunity, they all rushed into the meteorite belt regardless of the consumption of their shields. Report: the right raid is completed. The right team has successfully entered the meteorite belt, and will fight the opponent face to face. Lu Yun then let out a relieved report. She was indeed relieved. There is a limit to the energy shield's resistance. If it were just a little longer, I'm afraid the energy shield will be shattered, and it will take at least an hour to recover, which is equivalent to losing the shield. Relying purely on the armor and strength of the hull to fight against the opponent suffers a big loss. Because in this case, any random attack by the opponent may cause major damage to the starship. Luckily, the candy attracted most of the firepower and broke into the meteorite belt. Where did the radiance come from? Behind, in the cockpit of Fatty's starship, Fatty swallowed. Suddenly he gave a wry smile. He still looks down on others. Thinking about it now, I feel like a clown. This is not the time to think about these things. Take a deep breath, and start to concentrate on the battle. Entering the meteorite belt, Shu Xian also has the meteorite as a cover. It was as exciting as returning to my own home. In the Star Wars simulation, what kind of situation has he not experienced? When fighting Inhumans and Zergs, there are also meteorite belts nearby. The reason why he was able to kill enemies whose strength was several times greater than his own was not just because of his Star Wars strength. Using terrain is also one of his usual methods. The meteorite belt is his favorite place to go. First of all, the Brilliant is not that big, and it is more flexible in the meteorite belt. Secondly, relying on the meteorite to resist the high damage from the enemy and taking the opportunity to fight back is also Shu Xian's forte. This meteorite belt, although Shu Xian has never been here. But, see how slippery he is, dodging left and right, using meteorites to defend, dodge, counterattack, and even counterattack. A set of combos made people dumbfounded, and his familiarity with fighting in the meteorite belt made people even wonder if he grew up in this meteorite belt. Even the pirates on the opposite side were a little at a loss. Why does it feel like this person is more familiar with the terrain here than they are? Know how to fight in the meteorite belt better than them. What the hell is this starship? The most outrageous thing is. Another weird thing about this starship is that their detection radars can't detect each other. The locking radar can't even lock the opponent. If you want to hit the opponent, you can only aim it yourself, and you cannot aim it with the help of the locking radar. They are used to fighting with locked radar. Now suddenly aim with the naked eye. Don't mention that kind of uncomfortable energy. Starship after starship was killed by this weird starship. Moreover, the opponent even picked biological starships to fight, and didn't even look at mechanical starships. It's not. Now this unknown starship is chasing after a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. Beat that mid-level biological reconnaissance ship so that its butt is smoking, and it runs away with its head in its arms. Once again, Lu Yun and the others were dumbfounded. A low-level reconnaissance ship chasing a mid-level reconnaissance ship and beating the crap out of the opponent. Really want to know. The Brilliant. What the hell is it? This Shu Xian. What the hell is it? Lu Yun expressed sadness. She felt that she was a majestic 6th-level intermediate biological starship. It shouldn't be here, it should be at the bottom of the ship. In the meteorite belt on the right. According to the exploration radar, there are a total of 6 starships in this direction. Among them are 2 biological reconnaissance ships and 4 mechanical reconnaissance ships. One of the low-level biological reconnaissance ships was blown up by the Brilliant before. The last remaining mid-level biological reconnaissance ship was chased and fled by the Brilliant. That is to say, only 4 mechanical scout ships were left for them. Although the combat effectiveness of the mechanical reconnaissance ship is not much worse. But the point is, killing the mechanical scout ship has no evolution value. This is very uncomfortable, but what else can I do? Looting monsters. That cannot be specified. If you really want to rob the monsters, the Brilliant will blow them up and bring the matter to the Legal Affairs Department of the Earth Federation, and the Brilliant is also innocent. In this day and age, because of the untradeable and extremely precious evolutionary value and its extreme importance to biological captains, it is absolutely forbidden for others to snatch the enemy's biological starship. Not even if they are teammates. Once you snatch it, the candy will blow you up, and that is justified self-defense. It's that hardcore. What else can I do? I can only bitterly go to fight with the remaining mechanical scout ships. And after about 10 minutes, accompanied by the roar of the depths of the meteorite belt, after a while, the bright number reappeared in front of everyone. The Brilliant, forcibly blowing up that mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. Lu Yun didn't want to say anything about it anymore, and just wanted Shu Xian to go to the middle or left to help, and the mechanical scout ship here was handed over to them. But suddenly, Wu Jing's frightened cry for help came from the cockpit of the crowd. Frigate. And a biological frigate. There is also a biological frigate on the left side. Save me quickly. I'm being chased by a high-level biological reconnaissance ship and a low-level biological frigate. The Langkong has been destroyed. The Langkong has been destroyed. Confirm the death of the captain. Confirm the death of the captain. Come and save me. Wu Jing's horrified roar resounded in everyone's ears. Blue Sky number. It is one of the 6 biological captains hired outside this time. He followed Wu Jing and charged on the left. He was blown up, and he was blown up before he could even call for help. Moreover, the captain of the Blue Sky was confirmed dead. In fact, if the starship is blown up, the probability of the captain's survival is less than 10%, which is extremely low. But when they heard Wu Jing's cry for help, everyone's expressions froze. And a frigate. Black Crow. There are actually 2 biological frigates. Zhang Chengji's expression turned grim. You hold on. I will support you as soon as I kill this frigate. What you have to do now is run. Just procrastinate. Do everything possible to procrastinate. Right, what's going on over there? Is there any chance for you to support me? Zhang Chengji roared and asked. Lu Yun immediately replied loudly, we have a total of 6 starships here. 1 low-level and 1 mid-level biological reconnaissance ship, 3 mid-level and 1 low-level mechanical reconnaissance ship. Quote, 2 of the biological reconnaissance ships have been blown up by the Candy, and the Candy and I can go there to support. The captains in the middle and left lanes all felt that they were hallucinating after hearing Lu Yun's words. Brilliant. Explode those 2 biological reconnaissance ships. Yes, I must have heard wrong. Zhang Chengji didn't think deeply at all and responded loudly, I agree to support. Go to support immediately. Yes, Lu Yun responded loudly and warned Captain Fatty and the mechanical reconnaissance ship. Let them not seek to kill the opponent's 4 mechanical reconnaissance ships, but only insist on not being blown up. After that, he immediately left the battlefield and hurried towards the left side with the brilliance to provide support. Xu Ziyan ran the fastest. It's not that I'm worried about Wu Jing's life or death. Whether he dies or not has nothing to do with Xu Ziyan. Xu Ziyan just focused on the large amount of evolution value on the left. Let's not talk about the frigate yet. That advanced biological reconnaissance ship must be captured. After killing the advanced biological reconnaissance ship, you will gain 60 evolution points at the beginning. This is enough for Xu Ziyan to do too many things. The best result is to kill the high-level biological reconnaissance ship by yourself, and then kill the frigate together with the Chengyan and Wu Jing. Find the right opportunity to strike the final blow. Gee, that's how you get rich overnight. This situation is not considered grabbing monsters. If you go to fight if others can beat you, and if others don't invite you, that's robbing monsters. When you can't beat them, even if others don't invite you, you still strike the final blow. That's moral. Xu Ziyan is a moral person. Along the way, he flashed left and right among the meteorites. When passing through the middle area, he could faintly see that the fighting there was very fierce. No stopping, just keep going. A few minutes later, with Wu Jing almost hysterical and even crying for help, he finally arrived here. Sure enough, we saw a frigate about 230 meters long chasing the Wu Jing. The Wu Jing was now in tatters, with explosion and penetrating wounds all over the hull. Fortunately, the Wu Jing had been dodging in the meteorite belt, otherwise it would have been gone by now. Thanks to the 230-meter-long frigate, it is very inconvenient to move in such dense meteorites, otherwise the Wu Jing would have been destroyed long ago. Xu Ziyan didn't care about the frigate, let alone the life and death of the Wu Jing. The target is the advanced biological reconnaissance ship that is chasing the Federal mechanical reconnaissance ship. Say nothing. Just fire and shoot. With extremely precise accuracy and high penetration of penetrating warheads, even a high-level reconnaissance ship's shield was still breached. But this time, the hull was not penetrated again. But the high explosive shells from the secondary battery that followed also caused considerable damage to the hull. This caused the trajectory of this advanced biological reconnaissance ship to deviate. Kraken. Wu Jing's shocked and stunned exclamation came from the communicator. He didn't expect that. The first one to save him turned out to be the brilliant number that he had always looked down upon. Yes, in his opinion, Xu Ziyan's attack on the advanced biological reconnaissance ship was also to save him, although Xu Ziyan had no intention of doing so. Especially when he saw the terrifying combat capability of the brilliance, he was stunned. For a moment, I completely forgot my words. And at this time, Lu Yun's Chengyan is finally here. As soon as she arrived, I saw Chong Wei playing. Then I saw the brilliance attacking the advanced biological reconnaissance ship. Exploding shards of metal. Agitation was everywhere. Lu Yun was silent, completely speechless. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.